Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is, how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
Do you like wrestling trivia? Then check out the 5-Star Match Game, the Pro Wrestling Quiz Show. I'm Joe Gagney, and every episode, I grill 3 contestants with 5 rounds of power-packed wrestling trivia. We have over 30 evergreen episodes in the archives covering WWE, AEW, Japan, Mexico, and much, 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 much more. Play along at home and check it out today.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Very, 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 Mickey, Fishy, Fishy!
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
The fucking sun sucks. I don't know what you people see in the sun. I don't know how you people do the sun. It's just the dirt worst. I want nothing to do with it. I'd be content never going out in the sun again.
And Rich Crage.
It's the dumbest show. I cannot believe these people. Some people pay us $10 to listen to the show live. This is what we give them for 45 minutes.
Been doing this for 10 years. Why?
We're bigger than ever. More people listen to us than ever.
Why?
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, yeah, in that intro, I remember last week we talked about it. That intro clip that I played, you know, we're laughing about how dumb our show is and how we've been doing it for 10 years. And you reminded me, yeah, we're kickstarting our 15th year here. It's stupid. Right. It's insane. Right.
It's the start of year number 15.
Unbelievable. Yes. The 15th anniversary in Michael Cole math. In WWE math, the 15th anniversary of the Flagship.
WWE math, which is bad and dumb like the rest of that company.
Right.
Yes. It would be the 15th
and not how anybody else does math. They're the only people that do math the way they do. So to them, Super Bowl 50 is the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl. Even though there was not a Super Bowl 0, there was a Super Bowl 1, obviously. Right. But, you know, that's it, right. It fits perfectly with WWE that they would also do math wrong. Everybody has math, and math is like an exact science, and they have found a way to flip it on its head. It's unbelievable what they're able to do there.
And you, of course, famously great at math.
Oh yeah,
always with the quick math on the show. I can always count on Rich to give me a percentage or multiply something on the fly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
division, I love division, man.
While Rich is terrible and brutal at math, he is very good at being pedantic about things like odds and anniversaries, and right. Very good at that, though. So,
well, you got to pick your battles, you know.
Yes, we all have to pick our.
Well, that
battles.
stuff matters. The other math stuff doesn't matter. That, you know, like, what a rip all through. Now, when you were going through school, and really a little bit me as well. But like other when it was, you know, oh, well, you're not always going to have a calculator, you know, at your disposal. And there was a lot of my adult life where I didn't have a calculator always at my disposal. But for the most part now, we all have calculators. That, you know, like you would always hear that from teachers. Like, well, you need to know how to do this stuff because you're never going to have a calculator. You're not going to have a calculator with you at all times of the day. And it's like, yeah, now we do. You know, I have a calculator. Yeah. Any second I want, within seconds, I can get exact. So none of this stuff was needed. So thank you for wasting all of our time for so long.
Listen, I would love to run into Mr. Catenacci one of these days and be like, listen, you big dumb bitch, I have a supercomputer in my pocket now. Forget the calculator. Little did you know, pal, how things were going to be as time moved forward.
Do you have any of those? Well, clearly, I guess I was going to ask the question, but you, I think, very specifically named a teacher that you had. Do you have any teachers other than whatever that dude's name was that you
Mr.
still
Catenacci?
You're still mad about? Because I have a couple as well that I'm still, to this day, I do something and I'm like, that fucker, I should tell him, like my, 7th grade math teacher just railed on me all the time. He just put the screws to me constantly. And I'm always I think about that guy all the time. I think about that guy when I'm making like a spreadsheet for work or I'm doing, and I'm just like, fuck that dude. Like that dude, I mean, he basically told my parents, like, I think Rich needs to go to like, special schooling because he's slow. And I was like, dude, this guy, what a prick. That guy. I think about that guy all the time. And great story. And then I'll let you answer the question. One time I was on a flight and he was on the same flight as me. And I remember being like, oh, God, here we go. And this was like 5 years later. I don't think he remembered me. I definitely remembered him, obviously, because I still remember him today. And I'll never forget, he was in an aisle seat and somebody was putting their luggage up and they just fucking hit him right in the face. And I was like, oh, yes. And I'm just thinking, karma, it does exist. It does exist. He was just kind of like, like hit him in the nose. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, and I'm like, you know what? Serves you fucking right, dude. Serves you right. So,
well, you got to, that was the world. That was the universe giving you a little win there.
Yeah.
You got to see that guy get hit in the face with a suitcase. So, yeah, I got Mr. Catenacci. That was my guy. I think I've talked about him before. Yeah, we were in a meeting with my guidance counselor and all of my teachers in, I believe it was the 10th grade, because I refused to do any homework or put any effort into school. Because I had figured out how to game the grading system.
It's not hard. It's not hard to game it.
I figured out that if I got, the way it worked in that district was if you aced the midterms and the finals, you didn't really have to do anything during the year and you would pass, so they were trying to figure out how to motivate me. So my parents, the guidance counselor,
and this is not chasing scholarships and high GPA Joe Lanza at this point. This is get done with school and never think about school ever again, Joe Lanza, right?
I hated school with a fiery passion. I was not a morning person then. I'm not a morning person now. I didn't like the concept of waking up. I didn't like the concept of of structure. I still don't. I never did well with jobs that had a ton of structure. So it was not for me. I hated it. So I just wanted to do the bare minimum and get it over with. But so we had this big meeting with the teachers, the guidance counselors, the school psychologists, my parents, all that shit, and trying to figure out how to get me to do something with my grades and put some effort in. And Catenacci comes in there, and he was the one that just wasn't having it. Everybody else was doing the typical school, let's kill him with kindness thing. Not Catenacci. He came in there like a bat out of hell, and he's like, forget it. This kid's going to be digging ditches. There's no hope. He's going to be digging ditches. This old Italian guy, And I'll never forget it. I said, sir, digging ditches is honest work. If I can be a ditch digger and support myself, I think that's honest work. And that just set him off.
I was going to say, that probably didn't go very well for you, right?
That set him off, and he stormed out of there. He threw his hand up, and he was like, forget it. The kid is hopeless. And he just stormed out of there. And I just sat in his class for the rest of the year and did nothing and passed it because I took care of the midterm and the final. So he was an English teacher, not a math teacher. So I cheated your little question.
That's fine. No. It's any teacher. It's not just math. It's any teacher that got you. I obviously, not a surprise, I struggled at math at times. And it really took either like a good teacher or a bad teacher for me to do well in math, or like a basic need to understand what we were like. Cause there were some math classes where I did fine. Cause it was like, oh, this is all like practical math and this is okay. This was like, 7th grade math. We're doing like long division and stuff like that. And yeah, I forget this guy's name now. Thankfully I've forgotten it. But he just railed on me. And like you said, it's a similar thing too. He brought my parents in, and like the middle school was like right down the block from our high school. So he he's with my parents and me, and he opens up the blinds to his classroom and points, and he's like, if he wants to make it there, he's got to figure out how to do things here. And I'm like, I'm getting A's in every other class. Like, he's like pretending like my parents are like, he's getting like a C- in math. It's fine, man. Or it's like a D+ in math. Like he's doing A's across the board. Like, because everything else I was good at. I was good at every other part of school. It was just like, it's 7th grade and it's math, and I'm not, I don't really want to be a part of this. But yeah, he would use that as like leverage to be like, well, as if like they're not going to let me into the high school. It's not like I get like a high school teacher being like, look, if you want to go to college, you need to do this and this and this. They're going to let me into the high school, dude. And I think my dad was just like, they're not going to not let him in high school because he's got a D+ in math. Like, what are you talking about? It's a public high school. Like, he's going to make it. But that was his leverage play to be like, I don't know. He's got to go to extra, guidance and stuff like that. And then I remember I had a, God, what was this? The guy that lived behind me was like he worked at a government laboratory, and he wouldn't tell us what he did. So I don't know. It's probably, there's somebody listening. Let's see if Eric Kroll is in the room. He would know. Argonne National Laboratory. It's government owned, military aligned. They've done a lot of shit. They do a lot of shit with atomic things, maybe bombs, who knows? He would never tell us what he did. Never, ever told us what he did. And my mom was like, well, he's obviously has to be smart at math because he's, a physicist or what. I forget exactly what he was. So I remember her bringing me over to his house and being like, can you teach my son math? And he's like on a plane well above, you know what I mean? He's like, what do you want me? I'm not teaching this kid long division. Like, what are you talking about? I do stuff that you can't even comprehend what I do on a daily basis.
He does math that is no longer deals with numbers and deals with like theories.
Exactly. Right. So he's like, so he humored me. And at the end, he was like, I don't know, you seem fine at math. And I'm like, okay. And then from that point forward, I just had like more confidence, and then I was fine. It just took this one guy to be like, I don't know, you seem fine to me. I don't know.
But yet you're still terrible at math.
But I'm horrible. Yeah, I'm horrible.
It doesn't matter. It means nothing.
Right. I think going in realizing it does not, none of this actually matters. That was like the switch being flipped. And I'm like, who cares? It's fine. Not much really matters that much. It's not that much. Yeah. So, and then I did pretty well in math from there forward. But I liked school. I'm one of those dorks, unlike you. I liked school. So I didn't have.
My kids love school. When they have long breaks, they're like always asking me, how many days till we go back?
Okay, now that's insane. I liked my breaks. I'm like, that's insane.
I'm like, listen, you guys are psychopaths. I tell them, I'm like, you're crazy. What the hell you want to go back?
So I thought the boy wasn't a school guy. I knew the girl was he loves the camaraderie and the talking, and
they see it as a fun place. Their friends are there.
That's good.
So they it is good. I think it's great that they love their school. That's awesome. I wish I would have liked it. I don't like that I couldn't fucking stand it. I mean,
I'm sure things are a lot different now than they were in your day in terms of making school a nice place to be as opposed to whatever it probably was when you were there, which I'm guessing was not exactly the most pleasant atmosphere.
I mean, it was just school. I mean, I don't know if it wasn't. I didn't go to the high school and Lean on Me with with Joe Brown. I mean, it wasn't, I'm in New Jersey, but not that part of New Jersey. It was just school, but I just never liked it.
Wasn't High School High? You remember the John Lovitz vehicle, High School High?
I do.
Yeah, I love that movie. I haven't seen it in forever. It must be very cancel heavy because it's never on. Because I remember loving that movie and it used to be on TV all the time, and now it's never on TV, and I don't even know if it's on any streamer. It must be. I'm sure there's so many tropes there that are very, very canceled. So yeah, I'm guessing.
What was the Michelle Pfeiffer one with the Coolio?
Dangerous Minds. Dangerous Minds. How many? What a trope that was in like from 1993 to 1996. It's like, all right. White person, black high school. Let's go.
I would say like 83 to 96.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
There was one in the Barrio too with Edward James Olmos and the guy who was in La Bamba. What the fuck's his name? The guy that played Richie Valens in La Bamba.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond. What was the name of that one? That was another like teacher turns around a fucking dying school or whatever. What so they had with the whites.
Who else was in that one?
The Latinos. That genre of movie just crossed.
Are you talking about Stand and Deliver?
Stand and Deliver.
Yes, yes, yeah. What a great. Man, that's what movies were movies, man.
That was some genre, man, and it cut across everyone. Like, you get a little bit of everything with that genre. But yeah. Lean on Me is my favorite one though. That with Morgan Freeman. That one's fantastic. I can't get enough of that. That's a movie that will stop me in my tracks like Shawshank.
Is
I get
Shawshank too?
Shawshank's by that
Yep.
one. If I see that one flipping through, I got to watch it no matter at what point in the movie it's at. I have to watch that one. That is just a tremendous movie. They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they can call me Batman. And he holds up the baseball bat. He's got all the doors locked. Like, hell yeah, Joe. Take control of this school.
Yeah. Wrangle these kids in. Yeah.
He rounds up all the troublemakers and just kicks them out. He just says that, nope, you're not in school anymore. Get the fuck out of here. Now that you couldn't get away with.
No. Can't do that anymore. Yeah. You know what? Get the hell out of here. Get out of my damn school.
Throws him out. Yeah. He just kicks him out and locks the doors. Totally disregards fire laws. Just says, well, the drug dealers are coming in. Not anymore. We're locking the doors.
Put the old 2x4 through the door handles.
With the locks. Yeah. And then he's got the walkie-talkie system for when the fire marshal tries to catch him, and he's telling everybody, code red to go unlock all the doors. It's fucking great. I love Joe Brown. How can you not love Joe Brown? He got the job done too. They took that dopey test, whatever that test was. And, they passed it. They barely passed it, but, they passed it.
Yeah, I feel like Friday Night Lights is probably the last of that. Because I feel like that genre is pretty much gone, right? Like, they don't do any movies like that anymore. I mean, I'm admittedly not honed in on the current film genre or whatever, but I feel like they don't do like high school things. Or I guess 21 Jump Street was like the last attempt at trying to do, because I feel like these days I never see any of those like people going to schools or like trying to present a movie that takes place at a high school and all the novelty happens in the school or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, maybe because they think it's just too. Well, it's one of those things that I read about this.
Just go through some hot genres and then they just
fade. They just fade
over it.
Well, one of the things I saw, because there was an article I was reading not that long ago about why there's no more like sports movies, because we grew up in an era where there were just sports movies galore. There was constant sport movies. I mean, the 80s and the 90s filled with sports movies. And one of the big things that they talked to some Hollywood executive, and he was like, well, every film made in America is an attempt to be global. We want stuff to be seen in China. We want stuff to be seen all across the world. And a lot of these, we're not going to do a baseball movie because a baseball movie will do, maybe do well here in America. Moneyball being, a most recent example, but don't do well globally. Like globally, nobody really gives a fuck about a baseball movie, and and that might be a reason why like traditional American high school isn't like the exact, best place to have. So Jizzle in the chat room brings up Euphoria. Yeah, I guess Euphoria on HBO. That's a pretty good example of like.
Yeah.
The high school or what or school, but yeah, that one's a little different. Yeah. We're talking about like teacher enter, like that, the genre we just mentioned, every movie that was the exact way. We're like,
I think that kind of movie is just too corny,
too formulaic and too corny. Yeah,
I think that's what it is. Because we went through a lot of them and then they were all, but I guess they, like anything else, if they stop drawing money or the public's not interested in it, but I don't think any movies draw money unless it's a Marvel movie. Does anything draw money anymore?
Right.
I mean, we're to the point now where we're making movies and just immediately trying to sell them to streamers and, so I don't know. But I think it's just genres run out of steam. That's all. They might come back. Who knows?
Hopefully.
You would think in like these woke times that, teacher fixes horrible school would be a hot genre of movie.
Yeah, but I think the problem is like to present the horrible kids, everybody would be like, no, you're doing the wrong job of presenting the horrible. Like, because you brought up like the bad kids and this teacher's just like, get the fuck out of my school. Like, you can't do that. Or like, instead of like being like, you can't smoke in my school, it's like, no, you have to be gentle and tell them like, I understand why you're smoking, but here's the reasons why you shouldn't be smoking. You know what I mean? Like, and no one wants to watch that movie. That movie's not very fun. The teacher, has to have a real conversation, gentle parent the kid to tell him that he should, tell me why you're acting this way. And then we'll try to figure out why, and do pros and cons of why that's maybe not a good idea. And that's not a fun movie. That's a boring ass movie.
That's like me when Catenacci barged in and said, forget it. He's a lost cause.
Right.
He's going to be digging ditches. But, little did he know, like my dad was a laborer. So he stormed into that meeting and like insulted my father. Because so then my dad was like on my side. He's like, now, hold on. Now, wait a minute.
What's wrong with digging ditches?
He's like, what's wrong with digging ditches?
That's good, honest work, as you said.
And that's what I said. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind being a ditch digger. And then that made him mad because he knew I was trolling him. And then he stormed out. So,
I mean, hell, think about what especially if you're a union ditch digger, I mean, you're doing pretty well these days. No college debt. you're working right out of high school. Like, that's not a bad gig. Being a ditch digger, that's not bad. I don't know how many. Is that an honest job these days, or if we?
I don't even think ditch digger is or ever was a real job.
Yeah, I was going to say, ever since Bobcats existed, and
it's not it's just,
any sort of machinery, I think we've kind of lost the need for ditch diggers.
I don't think since like 1880 have we tossed people
Right.
shovels and said, "Let's dig the foundation to this house." It doesn't even. It's not even a real job anymore.
Digging the king's moat around the castle, like that feels like you're not doing that much anymore.
A grave digger used to be a real job, but they don't even. That's not even.
No,
like,
I watch those guys all the time. I do my daily walks in the cemetery now. They're in those little bobcats. They got that little machine. That machine, that does some great work. Cuts out a perfect square, or a perfect rectangle, I should say, not a square. Perfect long rectangle. Those guys are do good work out there.
That's definitely skilled labor at this point because you have to operate the machine and all of that. So, like, you can't even use ditch digger anymore. They don't exist. There's like no reason to like physically dig a ditch, So wherever Catenacci and all those people got that from, that's an old school insult. And that, again, you can't insult people like that. A job's a job, like that's the other thing. Like, you never have a teacher insult any profession anymore. They can't do that anymore. It's like I said, he didn't know. My father's sitting right there. He don't know what he does for a living, so you got to be careful with that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's you can't tell some kid that's not doing well in school, oh, you're going to end up being a plumber. It's like, oh, it's great. That's incredible work. I hope so.
$42 an hour? Sure.
I'm lucky if that happens. That'd be incredible.
Right.
24 hours to be a 24-hour plumber? I mean, oh my God. You get a call in the middle of the night. You're like, thank you. You're fucking done.
I can't wait to stick my arm down that fucking toilet.
Right. And charge you an arm and a leg. Hell yeah.
Pull out tampons and a dead squirrel. I can't wait to do that.
Right. I think that's what I'm gonna definitely steer my child to. Laborer seems like a better gig. College education, yeah. Who's got time for that?
I mean, you guys are still paying off loans. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Right. If he was an electrician,
skilled
he would be
labor.
Yeah, exactly. I think by the time his mother might be done paying off her loans once he's 18. Like, might be. I think.
Send him to that Votech high school.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember. I grew up in.
They threatened that. That was a threat in my high school, and now I think about it, and I'm like, damn, could have been a mechanic. What the fuck? That would have been incredible.
When I was a kid, and keep in mind that I grew up in housing projects, so I didn't grow up on in Beverly Hills. Okay, I grew up with kids who were also being raised by laborers. Okay. But even when I was growing up and where I was growing up, the kids that went to the Votech high schools, we would make fun of them and call it slow tech. There was a stigma attached to that. Like, if you didn't go to the public high school and your parents were smart and sent you to the Votech, like, you had a stigma attached. You were an outcast. See, I don't know if shit like that exists anymore with this new wave of kids, or maybe it does. Maybe kids are just as cruel as they were when we were in the 80s and 90s. But I get the impression that kids are kindler and gentler in those ways. But again, I don't know. Mine aren't old enough to know, because mine are they're not teenagers yet. And that's really when you start getting mean to your friends and to other people. So I don't know. It's but that's how it was. There was definitely a stigma attached to that.
Oh yeah.
When I was going to school.
Yeah, that like I said, the same teachers would use that threat of like, well, if you don't, if you're not doing well in high school, we'll send you off to, I forget what our one was called or whatever. It was like some technical institute or whatever in our town or whatever. They're like, oh, you can, if you don't want to, start acting up in here, we could send you out there. And I'm thinking anybody that went there is probably much better off than I am these days.
Right. They got a job at 18.
Right. They're airline mechanics or whatever. And now they're like, it's a
they
union.
Don't have any school debt at all.
They got a pension.
Right. They might be, they're like knocking on the door of retirement.
They probably are. Yeah. They probably are retired. Yeah.
They got their 25. You're about to hit their 25. They're counting down the clock to their 25 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giant pension. Yeah. No,
I got a couple military. I got a couple friends that were in the military that are like, 4 or 5 years away from straight up retirement. And then
Mike
they could
Gilbert right here on this podcast.
Oh,
network.
right. He's a fucking retiree. And he's what, 38 or something?
Yeah,
like
whatever
that.
the fuck
Insane,
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, well. I chose a different route, and here I am. Working a job and then doing a podcast after it. So
you know what happened to you? You're that perfect age of millennial that was convinced that if you didn't go to college, you were going to live in a cardboard box. Your era of person was convinced of that.
Correct.
You were all you were all terrified into that by your guidance counselors, by your parents, by society.
Yeah, and the parents wanted to bring their, because we're the generation of like a lot of first generation college graduates. Like I was the first in my entire family. Like everybody in my family, I was the first to go to college.
Yeah, so there was a lot of pressure on your age of human. Like it was unheard of. Like, no, you have to go to college. I mean, come on, you have to go to college. You know, so that's what happened.
You don't want to be a ditch digger or a airline mechanic.
Exactly.
Exactly. I guess. An electrician. You want to be a union electrician? Oh my God. All right, fine. And now I'm like, oh man, I wish I was a union electrician. That'd be incredible. All these data centers. I mean, fuck. They still need electricity, right? You know?
Yeah.
Anyway. But now I have time to talk about wrestling. I have time to watch and talk about wrestling. So, you know, I wouldn't change a thing, Joe.
I had an ex who was not a good student. She actually had learning disabilities when she was in high school. But again, that pressure to go to some type of college or you're going to, you know, be homeless. And so her parents said, but she was good at art. She was like good at painting. So her parents sent her to the an art college in Baltimore. And they really didn't. So she has like this art degree that it doesn't help you get any job on this planet.
Ever.
It doesn't. It seriously, that her degree is not useful in attaining any job. And when we were together, she was a bartender and she was making a lot of money. And I think she's still a bartender to this day, like a decade after we broke up. But she still has that massive debt to pay off. Going to the Baltimore Institute College of Arts, I believe it was called.
Whereas if she had just been a bartender starting at,
from the start, she wouldn't have had any of that fucking debt.
Exactly.
You know, she's got big jugs and she's kind of hot and she's a perfect bartender. She could have just been a bartender right off the rip, right? Instead of fucking, you know, but I'm sure she's still paying off that fancy fucking art school that they sent her to. But it did lead to me going to lots of Orioles games.
What era of Orioles baseball are we talking here?
Not a great era of Orioles baseball, but, you know, it's baseball. And because, you know, so all our friends were in Baltimore. So we go to Baltimore all the time for the weekend and go to fucking Orioles games and shit. So Inner Harbor, all that fucking nonsense.
We're talking Melvin Mora era.
Jesus Christ, how old do you think I am? Melvin Mora, he played there in like 96.
No. Melvin Mora was like mid-2000s.
Melvin Mora? Are you sure about that?
Yes,
maybe
of
in
course.
early 2000s.
Go look at Melvin Mora's baseball reference. Yeah.
Pull it up. Melvin Mora was...
No, I'm not... if I said Brady Anderson, I could see you getting upset.
Hold on. We're both right. He played for the Orioles from 2000 to 2009. So he carried both of those eras.
You said 96.
No, I know. Yeah. And then I said early 2000s. Yeah. 96 is a little early. That's like Eddie Murray was still hanging around.
Right. Well, to be fair, he played for a while. But
yeah.
No. So was it that era of Orioles baseball?
Actually, yeah, probably was.
Okay.
Probably right in there, you know, right before I moved to Texas. So, you know, like, when the hell I get together with her? She's the one.
She was the one?
I should tell this on the air. She's the one who hooked up with Derek Jeter. And that's how I have
yeah. Those jugs come in handy. Nice job.
That's how I feared I had the Jeter strand of herpes, because Jeter was with Jessica Alba and then she was with Derek Jeter and then I was with her. So I was like, do I have Derek Jeter's herpes? Do you remember all that from many years ago?
I do. Yeah. It also means you basically... Yeah, you have a good track record.
Eskimo brothers.
Yeah, you're like Eskimo brothers with like some of the hottest women on earth. Like that's incredible. You and Minka Kelly are like one. You're basically there.
2 degrees of separation from Jeter's diamond, his famous diamond.
Yeah.
Hookups. So she hooked up with Derek Jeter on a New Year's Eve, and her friend hooked up with George Posada, which is not
Jorge Posada.
You want to talk about getting the short end of the stick? Like you get Posada, and you know, and she got Jeter.
Oh God,
yeah, that's the same one. That's the same ex.
All right, well, good for her.
The same ex.
Yeah, good for her.
So you know, I'm sure she's still slinging beers somewhere.
Yeah,
but haven't talked to her since when Lexi died. When the Chihuahua died, I texted her
because she still had a connection to the Chihuahua.
I was like, our dog, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like I should tell her that the dog.
Oh
died,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the right
yeah,
thing to do.
yeah.
So I told her. And I did text her too when Madeline died last year, but I didn't get a text back. So she probably changed the number.
All right. Well,
I tried because we did have those dogs. Those dogs were old as fuck. So, those were her dogs too.
Everybody's in the chat room asking if she got a gift basket, but
I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe. I don't know. She said it was a New Year's Eve thing.
I think that was a special event. I don't think you got a gift basket on a special event. That was...
It was a New Year's Eve hookup in Disney World, and I forget the year. But I don't want to get Posada in trouble because I think he's been married a long time. But
come on, they all know.
I think they all have a past, right?
I'm sure. I think
You gotta have the past, unless you're Doug Christie. You have to have the pass.
Yeah, AC Green and Doug Christie are the only two that probably do.
Well, AC Green doesn't want the pass.
No, he doesn't need it.
And Doug Christie, his wife, is just, she travels everywhere with him. We don't know. Because Doug Christie, his entire playing and coaching career, his wife traveled everywhere on every road trip with him for the stated purpose of him not fucking around. Like, it wasn't even a hidden motive or ulterior motive. It was like, no, I know what basketball players do, and my husband is never doing that. And she traveled and stayed with him every step of his career. So
I've told this story before, but I mean, like, anytime any athlete, any people are like, oh, I can't believe athletes do that, or that's, and I don't think that many people have that thought. I think most people understand the game, but I stayed in a hotel at the Detroit Pistons, and this is like this is post-championship Detroit Pistons, like not the Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer. I'm talking like the Chauncey Billups, like Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. That it's like the post of that. It's like at this point, like Austin Day. You remember Austin Day?
Of course.
They brought back Ben Wallace. It's like this era of Detroit Pistons, like 2010 Detroit Pistons. Not a very good team at all. I don't even remember who their best player was at that point, but it wasn't very good. So we're staying at their team hotel in Milwaukee. So it's in Milwaukee. We're just out of random. Like, I just happened to book this hotel at the same weekend, and I get in an elevator and there's Ben Wallace in the elevator. I turn the corner and here's this guy, and it was a bunch of dudes that I remember seeing around there, and the coaches and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh wow, okay, we're in the team hotel for the Bucks or the Pistons. So we, I'm with somebody at this time, and we go out and we come back, and when we come back, it's getting close to when the game is going to end, when the Bucks and the Pistons are going to end, and the lobby was filled with women. We walk in, I'm like, whoa, like, what is going on here? There's like 40 women just standing there, and they are
the kind of attractive that looks not real.
Yes, and they're all fucking beautiful. And I'm thinking, and this is no offense to the fine folks of Milwaukee, but I'm like, if this is Milwaukee's 40 best, what the fuck is Miami's 40 best?
LA.
Like, I'm like, oh my God. And the girl I'm with is like, whoa, look at how hot all these women are. I'm like, I know, this is insane.
These were women that were so hot that the girl you're with can't even be mad that you're looking at them.
Right. She's like, I want to fuck all these women. I'm like, I know. Right. It's incredible. Like, this is unbelievable. And I'm thinking, these guys get done playing this basketball game. They walk into this hotel, and here's a literal buffet of beautiful women, and I'm like, oh my God! Obviously we know like the whole score, but I'm like, oh my! It really dawned on me how insane it is, and then again thinking, this is Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell does this thing look like in LA? You could tell with the Lakers
Milwaukee,
game. Holy crap!
It's also pre-Instagram and OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Now it's multiplied. It's just.
And this is like the lowly Detroit Pistons. This is a
Austin Day.
Right. Like that's the name I bring up, and he legit had to have been like the top 4 player on that Detroit Pistons team at that time.
Well, these guys, they don't even have to go to the hotel bar anymore. They just have to open their phone.
Right.
Like it's
they
not,
order it.
You know what I mean? It's like. Yeah, exactly. You order it like it's an Uber Eats. You scroll through the Instagram or your DMs. Your DMs fill up, or you fill up their DM. Yeah, it's very easy now. You don't even have to go down there and put even the fraction of an effort that they put in before, because it's not like it's a ton of effort.
No. Oh, I forgot to mention the guy.
You're with me, Leather is basically
right. I forgot to mention Greg Monroe. That's who I remember seeing too, and that would have been a perfect reference to you. I forgot a Hoya legend, Greg Monroe.
Greg Monroe undoubtedly pulled the hottest girl in that bar. There's no question about it.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Hoya legend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, poor guy. Just got in the league at the. Right as things were kind of changing a little bit.
Well, here's what great. No, see, that was Roy Hibbert. He came in the league at the
Roy Hibbert had like 3 or 4 years, and he was fine. And then one day he showed up, And everyone's like, oh, we don't need you ever again. You are now no longer needed in this league. Like, he had 3 or 4 years where he was like, you were one of the most important players on a very good team. And then he came back the next offseason and they're like, oh, we don't want you ever again. Like, we're 7'2", slow lumbering. No, we're good. Like, can you shoot threes? Can you guard 3-point shooters? No, get out of the league right away. And he was gone within like a year or two.
Yeah, Greg Monroe was a small forward at Georgetown. And then his first couple years in the league. And then he showed up at training camp one year at like 290 pounds and became like this fucking down low banger power forward all of a sudden. Remember that?
Yeah.
He completely changed his career. And I was like, this is
I only know him as that. So I never knew him as like a small forward, like a cagey small forward. Yeah. I only knew him as
it was big, like a slasher.
Oh, okay. I only remember his big bruiser who would just like put his hands up. They'd give him the ball. He'd dribble 4 times, turn around. Maybe it'd go in. Maybe he'd get fouled. That was kind of
last of a dying breed.
The extent of his offense, yeah.
Weren't you at the game where Monroe and the Bucks ended the Warriors' win
I was,
streak?
yes. And he was the key factor.
He had a huge game.
Yeah.
He had like 31 and 10 like down
I remember
low.
being like, how is Greg Monroe going to end this streak? How is Milwaukee Buck Greg Monroe going to end this streak? And he did. It's just like the Warriors just couldn't hit threes and they couldn't stop Greg Monroe because the league had gone with we don't need anybody. Like they had, David Lee and Draymond Green at center or whatever. And that worked obviously very well for the Warriors. But on this night, they couldn't guard Greg Monroe. And the Bucks just kept giving the ball to Greg Monroe. He'd do his 3 dribbles. He'd turn around. No one was there, and he'd make it. And I was like, oh, my God, Greg Monroe is single-handedly ending one of the great streaks in basketball history and sports history. And I was there live because I'm the biggest mush, like you said.
Did you see DePaul beat Georgetown the other night?
No. Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Blue Demons. Okay. Let's go.
So this is everything I'm about to say is true.
What's the state of Georgetown basketball right now? I can't
everything I'm about to say is true. Georgetown scored a basket with 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first half. They hit one more field goal the entire game.
What?
You heard what I just said.
Hold on.
They made a basket.
Let's say that. Run that back. Okay, run that back.
They made a basket with 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first half.
In the first half.
And they were up like 5 or something, right? It was just a regular game happening, right? From that point forward, they made one field goal the rest of the game, not the rest of the half.
That doesn't sound very good.
They shot 1 for 22 in the second half.
Oh, God.
Now, get this. The one basket, they had 2 separate droughts of over 10 minutes without a field goal, which is almost impossible to do. But get this. The one field goal they made in the second half gave them the lead.
Oh, what a horrible basketball game. God.
This was
because I was going to say, DePaul can't be very good either, so I imagine it was just bad against bad, right?
That one field goal gave them the lead, and DePaul never led by more than 6.
They went 1 for 22, and we're still in the game.
Their opponent went 1 for 22 and didn't make a basket made one basket for the final 23 minutes of the game. This was the worst basketball game I've ever seen.
The state of the Big East, my God.
Just horrendous basketball. It became comical at some point where these guys and this was not good defense. These were 2 teams just missing point blank layups, bricking threes, turning the ball over. It was the epitome of awful. And I am now full on Ed Cooley must go.
PJ Carlissimo is spinning in his grave at what's happened to the Big East.
No one in the chat believes it. Go look up the box score. I'm not making it up. 1 for 22 in the second half, 1 basket in the final 23 minutes, which gave them a 2-point lead. That one basket. Pathetic basketball on all sides.
Was this in Georgetown or at the lovely Wintrust Arena?
At Wintrust.
Oh, I should have went. I should have been there. Yeah.
And then Andy Katz is interviewing Holtman, whatever the DePaul coach, the guy they got from Ohio State.
Yeah, Holtman, I think.
Holtman. He goes, wow, Chris, they shot 1 of 22 in the second half. What a defensive effort by your Blue Devils.
Okay, was he doing a tongue-in-cheek or did he?
No.
He believed it? Okay. Because that's something you say as a joke. Like, when we play pickup games or whatever, and, like, it's a low score. Like, it's 3-2, and we've been playing for a half hour. And, someone will make the joke, defensive battle out here. The next,
it's not possible.
Somebody will brick a 3 and go, we're playing. What a defensive battle this has been. So he was earnest in that.
He was earnest. And it's not possible to play defense that well. As you know, if a team shoots that bad, it's because they stink.
Correct.
Okay, it's impossible to play. And Holtman was like, well, I don't know about that, but and then he went on with his answer because he even couldn't take credit for the defensive efforts that Katz was placing on his Blue Devils. But, they were just as bad, believe me. I think it was 56-50. 56-50. Some late free throws gave him that big 6-point lead. So it was down. It was like a game with 30 seconds left, despite the fact that one team had one field goal in 23 minutes. So anyway, that Greg Monroe reminded me of that debacle. So fire Ed Cooley. Ed Cooley's got to go.
This is bad. Yeah. Is this? I'm looking at a thread right now. Is this the 4th straight loss to DePaul from Georgetown?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, it is.
That's fireable, right? That's fireable right there.
He's got to go. He's got to go.
Losing 2 in a row to DePaul should be fireable. Losing 4 in a row to DePaul is what are you doing here?
He got suspended last week for throwing a water bottle and hitting a kid in the front row.
I remember seeing that.
He's a mess. He's got to go.
I didn't know that was him. Okay. I remember seeing that. Yeah. Oh, this box score is incredible. Malvin Mack, 2 of 12. Just Julius something or another, 1 of 7.
Lafanua, yeah.
Yeah, these are gross. One guy 0 of 4.
Yeah.
1 of 12 from 3. The only made 3 was from a guy who played 16 minutes off the bench, took 1 3.
He got punched in the dick and had to leave the game and never came back. That's how this game went. He got hit in the balls and he never came back in the game. Yeah.
Oh, this is rough. Yeah, I'm looking at this. This is
terrible game.
This
atrocious game.
Horrible. Anyway. Yeah. All right, let's get to some professional wrestling here. Let's talk wrestling. I know everyone here is saying, God, let's talk some professional wrestling. So we're going to start off with contract season. Now, that's something we like to cover all the time when we do the Flagship. You did a Flagship Plus this week. You can listen to it exclusively at flagshippatreon.com. By the way, where you did a couple of quick hitters on some different contract season stuff. Who did you talk about on that show to kind of give a little bit of preview for people who want to maybe listen in?
Oh, I talked about Matt Cardona. I talked about Go Shiozaki officially joining All Japan. I talked about the 7 New Japan guys who have been rumored to be free agents, and I had some exclusive notes on some of those. So that would have been Evil, Sonata, David Finley, Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, and the Knockout Brothers.
Yeah,
I talked about those guys. I forget who else. The 3 AEW contracts that expired. So I talked about Matt Taven, Alex Abrahambres, and Mercedes Martinez. So I did cover a decent chunk of the notable contract season wrestlers. Oh, Junta Miyawaki, who is working DDT full time basically now, but they're still saying he's with Noah, but we all know how that goes. A lot of times these are soft jumps.
That's a soft jump for sure.
A lot of times they are. So we'll have to see about that. So I think those are all the ones I covered on the Flagship Plus. The other ones I have noted that I guess we'll talk about now, obviously Jake something / Jake Doyle just debuted on AEW last night. Mustafa Ali re-signed with TNA since I did that show. Yuya Aoki has left Big Japan and is officially a freelancer as of February 1st.
That's right. I forgot to note that one. Yeah. That's another big blow to Big Japan, which it continues to struggle to keep anybody as actual contracted talent. But that's a big one. Yeah, that him going freelance is a pretty big deal for Big Japan.
Who else did you have other than those 3 and the ones I did on the Plus?
Well, someone pointed out in the in our Patreon comments, Brinley Reese. You did not bring up Brinley Reese at all.
How could I forget Brinkley Reese?
Brinley.
Right.
Come on. Yeah.
Brinkley Reese. It's amazing I missed that one.
I know.
I have to tell you, I legitimately don't know if that's a male or a female. I have no idea who Brinkley Reese is. That's probably why I didn't bring them up. I apologize to that subscriber who wanted me to break down Brinkley Reese. I can tell you this. I can't break down Brinkley Reese because I have no fucking idea who that is.
Yeah, she was in NXT here for a while. I'm sure you've seen her, but she is very impossible to distinguish between any of the other NXT women like that. Wow. For a while there, they were just signing all these tumblers and acrobats and gymnasts or whatever, and they all looked exactly. They were just these blonde, tan women with bright colored attire, and there was no way to tell them from one from the other. So,
I'm going to go out on a very thin limb and say that Brinkley Reese, whatever her name is, Christy Brinkley, is not any good and we'll never see them again. How's that?
No,
you think there's a good odds of that?
Zero chance. Yeah, I like to do this, and actually, I'm probably due to do it again pretty soon. Where I like to go back and check out they don't do as many of the like collective releases anymore. That was kind of a thing of the old WWE, but they do from time to time. They'll release like 10 people all at once, and I like to go back and look. And it's funny that all these PC people, none of them ever do anything else. They never even attempt to get booked anywhere. Occasionally, once or twice, a few of them will say like, all right, I'm on my own now, and like, here's my booking info. And then you end up not finding out anything. They never wrestle ever again, or they do one indie shot and they go, oh, fuck this. Like that's So Brindley Reese.
They're like, oh, this is what indie wrestling is? I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I go into a locker room and pissing in a bucket or whatever. Yeah, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
There's no one here to tell me what to do in my match. Like, how am I supposed to wrestle? What am I supposed to do without an agent telling me every spot that I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, if you grow up in the Performance Center and that's what you know as professional wrestling, and look, for all the Performance Center is a beautiful facility with a lot of amenities, and you have coaches and all this sort of stuff. Telling somebody, okay, drive to Des Moines, Iowa, and show up at this Knights of Columbus building, and with your bags, and then you're going to change in front of everybody.
Change in front of everybody.
Right.
Knock on the back door, and if we're there, we'll let you in.
right.
And then.
And then we'll show you the bathroom, the women's bathroom downstairs next to the bar, where you can change and put your makeup on or whatever. Like, that's a very quick eye opener to never mind.
And you ask the promoter, where's the catering? And they say, well, there's a half finished case of bottled water in the corner if you'd like to imbibe. Yeah, it's totally different.
The Mexican place across the street's pretty good. You can go there. They do pretty good tacos.
Oh yeah, and they told us if you said you're on the show, you'll get 20% off.
Right.
So that's
an eye opener. Yeah.
So Brinkley Reese, I don't know nothing about her or him or whoever it is, but I don't know. I don't like their odds just based on past precedent. But maybe they'll surprise me and they'll be main eventing in fucking Pro Wrestling Noah next year.
Yeah, I think she got an injury. She was doing NXT and then she went to Evolve. And usually when you start in NXT and then you go to Evolve, it's usually not very good for you. And she got an injury and now I think she's done. There's no chance she'll ever wrestle again.
So anyway, I covered those 10 or so talents on the Flagship Plus. The New Japan stuff, it turned out I had some pretty good information from the digging around I did because a lot of it got confirmed since the stuff that I talked about on there. Also, I reviewed the December 27th 0-1 tag team tournament final show and the January 1st, I got hiccups, Tochigi Pro show. So we covered the 0-1 extended universe on that Flagship Plus. And I also gave some big picture thoughts on New Year Dash. I know we're going to review it later in detail, but I did do some big picture thoughts on New Year Dash. So there's it's almost a 2-hour Flagship Plus on the $5 tier right now. I also did a little, it was a combination of a show review and sort of a little mini news update on 0-1 as well, a written piece that's up too. That's also on the $5 tier. So if you want 0-1 coverage, I don't know, anywhere in the world,
nowhere else
0-1 coverage,
nowhere else you're going to get it.
And where you're getting it here. So that's what I got going on. I know you had a new tour of the territories that just went up. There was a new Dynamite review, obviously, that went up earlier today. So there's just a ton of stuff back there. And like I've been telling people, I can say with confidence that there's going to be more content behind that paywall this year than any other year that we
promise.
And that's not just a sales pitch or anything like that. I didn't say that last year. This year, there will be more content than ever. In fact, I'm confident enough to announce something new that's going to be happening behind the paywall right now.
Oh, here we go.
For two reasons. Number one, I'm now 100% sure that I'm going to do it. Number two, now that I'm announcing it, it'll pressure me to make sure
you have to now. Yeah, I got to do it.
So there will be TV reviews when Impact starts on AMC. So I'm going to do it in the same way that I do the Thursday Dynamite reviews. It'll be what day is that air? Is that going to be on Tuesdays on AMC?
Thursdays.
So
Head to head with us.
It'll be the Friday Impact review is what it'll be. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I don't know how long I'm going to do it for. I'm definitely going to do it at the start of the show because there's going to be a lot of buzz around it or whatnot. So it might peter out after a while. If it goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to peter out rather quickly, and there won't be a ton of interest in Impact reviews, and I'll probably stop. But I'm going to keep doing it as long as it's interesting. That's a good way to put it.
I think so. Yeah, and you'll know.
Review.
And you'll know.
For as long as it's interesting, I'll keep it going, but I know there's going to be a lot of interest in it when it rolls out. It's going to have a lot of attention and eyeballs and interest because, it's TNA moving up in the world. So that's one little project that I can announce publicly and commit to. But there's going to be more content behind this paywall than any other year that we've had. So if you think we put out a lot of content already, I would say keep up. And if you have been in and out or haven't subscribed, like, they don't really do enough, well, that's going to change. There's going to be a ton of content this year behind the paywall. I've got some ideas I haven't even pitched to Rich yet. So we're working on a lot of things, and it's already, even the first week, there's a ton of content back there.
Right. I can say confidently once January might be kind of normal output, for most of January, but by the end of January, February, things will be kicking into high gear for sure. And that's
on your end, you mean?
Definitely on my end. And I think,
stuff.
Things are going to increase a lot around these parts. So it's good.
Yeah. So yeah, no doubt about it. It's a good time to get in. And, the one thing that I find extremely encouraging is that, I make no bones about it. I thought 2025 was a horrible year for pro wrestling. I think that the current pro scene, at least coming into 2026, is the worst that I've ever seen it in the history of my fandom. And when we read our exit reviews for our subscribers, the most common answer, Rich, is what?
Just not interested in wrestling anymore. Wrestling sucks right now.
Yeah. So it's not just me that's been down on wrestling in 2025 or over the last 2 years, year and a half. It's just the overall quality of wrestling to me hasn't been good. And I haven't pretended it was. You and I are never going to be people who are going to artificially pump up wrestling if we don't believe it, just for the sake of keeping customers around or anything. We don't give a shit. We're going to tell people exactly what we think and exactly what we think is going on. But what I find interesting is, as of this very second, we're like 6 paid subscribers short of our all-time high, despite the fact that wrestling stinks and we've had a gigantic chunk of people X out because they just don't like wrestling anymore. And there's a lot of other sites and Patreons that, haven't been doing as well because wrestling people have lost interest. So I think that I'm grateful for the fact that we just continue to grow and do very well on that side of the business. And I think that that speaks to the fact that we've somehow continued to be interesting to people, despite the fact that the wrestling isn't interesting to them. So I am committed in 2026, and I've kind of hinted around at this, at digging as deep as I can to find wrestling that I am interested in, because as fun as it is to hear us rip on shit, and we're very good at burying shit and ripping on shit, okay? I think people enjoy it even more when we're passionate and we really like something.
You got to do both. You can't be one or the other.
The problem is I am not passionate and do not like much of anything that's happening right now, or it happened for a while, but I'm going to find it. And if that means taking a day and a half to figure out how to subscribe to fucking 01 to their Japanese fucking 01 base Neo app, so I could watch every 01 match and report back on that to people. If that means I gotta start getting back into the indies and try to find an indie I can sink my teeth into, I'm gonna find something. I can't accept that there's no pro wrestling right now that's operating at a high level. There has to be something out there. So I'm gonna find it, or I'm gonna keep trying to find it. I will say that. I don't know if I can commit to finding it. It is what it is. If it stinks, it stinks. I'm not going to pretend to like something if I don't like it. But I'm going to keep looking. And it won't be Joshi, because every man has his limits. So there you
go. Real quick before we get on to what I thought was a really good week in Japanese wrestling. There's 2 shows that I really enjoyed, or at least 2. One show I very much enjoyed, and some stuff I enjoyed on these other shows. I can't say I enjoyed the 2 other shows we're going to talk about, but I really did enjoy New Year Dash. You talk about the contract season. Mustafa Ali re-signs with TNA, as you mentioned. BDE, YouTuber BDE, has officially signed with TNA. He was trained by Sami Callihan and Ace Austin. He debuted at Bound for Glory as part of their gauntlet match, so he's there as well. And I don't know if you saw this massive news sent by TNA just before we came on the air here to get you excited and get you ready for the AMC debut. Joe, you're going to be in great company here for that debut episode on AMC.
Okay.
Perez Hilton will also be a part of the TNA debut on AMC.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you see the state of Perez Hilton in that YouTube video? What happened to Perez Hilton?
Well, age, for one thing, and probably some other things.
I'm sorry.
Sunlight, age, lack of hydration, maybe some other things involved in the state of
Perez Hilton is not looking healthy.
No.
That's all I could think about when I saw that Perez Hilton promo touting the start of TNA Impact, I guess next week, right?
I think it's bad that I don't actually know. It seems like it's kind of it's lost some steam a little bit here, but yeah, exactly. But
it has. But WWE is going to give it a hard push and probably send people and everything. So
sure, but Perez, I mean, where did they find Perez Hilton? Is one of those names that when I saw this post, I had this thought, and sometimes we say this about celebrities, or we say this about people. I haven't thought about that person in 10 years or whatever. And it's like, it's just a thing that you say or whatever. Or I haven't thought about that person in forever. I legitimately have not had, like, Perez Hilton was all over everything forever. And then one day in my life, at least, and I don't know about everybody else's life, poof, just went away. And I never thought, I never saw, the thought of Perez Hilton never crossed my mind again. It's got to be at least 10 or 11 years that I even for a second, my brain thought about
Perez Hilton existed.
Like, did it just happen one day, or did it peter out over time? Because it just, to me, it was one day. To me, I woke up one day, that day before Perez Hilton was in my life, the day after, never heard, and then from that day to today, I have had no idea of what Perez is Perez Hilton still active doing?
I don't think you're alone. I think Perez Hilton just left our consciousness randomly because I haven't thought about Perez Hilton in at least a decade. So that's a good point. And
it happens so fast, right?
What does Perez Hilton do, or where do they work? Do they still have their website? What do they do?
I have no idea. No clue.
I don't either. No clue.
That's what I mean. Like, but that was a site. That was like a massive site. Like, that would be cited on like your local news. It'd be like, PerezHilton.com reporting that whatever celebrity gossip, or God forbid you were watching Entertainment Tonight or whatever. Like, that was a major website for like gossip and entertainment news. And
I think there's a shelf life on those people, because the Perez Hilton before Perez Hilton was AJ Benza. Remember AJ Benza? You probably haven't thought about AJ Benza.
That's another one.
In 20 years. What the fuck? Right? Where's AJ Benza? What are they up to? What are they doing?
AJ Benza. You're right. And one day you wake up and that person is out of your life and they never come back.
And they never come back. Did AJ Benza become a union electrician? Like what happened to AJ Benza? Because are they still breaking scoops somewhere in the celebrity world, or are they just out of the game?
I have no idea.
It's got to be a hard game breaking celebrity scoops.
It's got to be tough.
Publicists and it's just the worst. And everybody hates you. The celebrities hate you. The public hates you. Everybody hates you. So it's got to be a really short shelf life, really. I haven't thought about Perez Hilton in a long time.
Eric Kroll in the chat room says, was the Drudge Report guy not available? That's another one. Or like the Huffington Post or whatever.
Oh, my God.
I never realized how quick the shelf life is on these things. Like you're a rising phoenix, and then it's just over. It's just one day it's just over.
Yeah. You're like one of the biggest power brokers in Hollywood, because you have all the scoops. You can control careers. You can sink someone, and then you're just nothing. You're just AJ Benza. Poof, you're a ghost. Just gone. It is crazy.
So it looks like Perez Hilton's website is still around. I don't know if I'm not going to click it because it's probably just filled with spyware and stuff. So
what's it called? PerezHilton.com?
I think it's just PerezHilton.com. Yeah, if you want to go. It's probably filled with stuff. It might crash my computer, so why don't you try it?
I'm going to get rid of this computer because I'm convinced that's the cause of my recording issues anyway. So I'm going to stop being a cheapskate and go get a laptop. Let's see. Whoa, here's some pop-ups. All right, you were right. Well, this is somewhat.
And we're back. Wow. It's not a bit. People that are asking, is it a bit? It was absolutely not a bit.
It was 100% a bit. Rich just did a clever bit.
I wish.
Where he pretended the Perez Hilton crashed everything.
People can hear. There are people that are listening on the live stream, and it'll probably be gone eventually. If you're listening on the live stream, it will at one point. You'll hear the Bluetooth connection, and you'll hear all the stuff on my computer turn off, and that I can't control it. I don't even know if we're on right now. Let us know if we're on, actually, because now YouTube is telling me we're not on. So, can you hear us? This is unbelievable.
Well, they would be responding by now because I don't think they can hear us. Is this at least recording?
Okay, we're on. We're back. Okay.
What a professional operation this is.
That's what happens when you go to PerezHilton.com. I didn't even go. I was on Perez Hilton's Wikipedia, and that happened. But right as you went on, all my computer stuff crashed. It's wild.
Well, do you want Perez Hilton's big scoops on the front page?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the top story on PerezHilton.com is shit is getting real. Donald Trump says, I don't need international law in quest for world dominance. Only this can stop me. But you have to click to see what this is.
So we're doing... Okay. All right.
Click for details, it says.
Yeah. Okay.
The second featured story is OMG! Exclamation point. Team Taylor Swift. Donna Kelsey shades the hell out of her son Travis's exes. Click for details. All right.
That's more normal. That because I remember it being like this and this person has camel toe. Look at the photos, and then weird dating stuff. So that's more
Donna
what I thought.
Donna Kelsey burying Travis's exes is the second biggest story.
Yeah, okay,
right
and that seems more typical for what I expected PerezHilton.com to be.
Wow. ... Princess Catherine makes the most heartbreaking comment about going through cancer treatments. Click for details. With a picture of who's the bald one? Prince William? The younger one.
Yeah. The other one's completely gone. Yeah, it's William, I believe.
Yeah. Special skill. Hillary Duff said she has a talent for cutting out friends in resurfaced interview weeks before Ashley Tisdale's mom group drama.
Rich, yeah. Wow. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm big on. I love Ashley Tisdale's mom group drama, so I might actually click that.
Well, here's what happened. So Hillary Duff had beef with Ashley Tisdale's mom group, and now they've got a resurfaced interview where Hillary Duff basically is saying she has a talent for cutting out friends, and man, is it all coming together now, Rich?
Wow.
It just makes too much sense.
So on my phone, I see that Hillary Duff and Mandy Moore were both blindsided by Ashley Tisdale's going public. Wow. Okay.
There's listen, and Perez Hilton has all the tea. He has all the tea on this situation.
Why does this site look so bad? I remember the site looking better.
It looks exactly the same, and I think that's the problem.
That might be the problem. Yeah, maybe exactly. It looks exactly like it did in 2008, the last time I thought about it, and that maybe it should update a little bit. So.
Next story, I'll pay, in quotes. Dax Shepard already offered to help freeze his daughter's eggs. She's how old? All right.
It makes you know what? It makes you respect WrestleVotes a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like when you see this low-level stuff, it makes you respect the low-level wrestling reporting that we get to. That's Dax Shepard, I'll pay, and... Oh, I'm looking at this article now. -- she's how old?
So, story number 6 on the Perez Hilton website. And here we go, baby. This is not a joke. I'm going to be part of professional wrestling.
All right.
Click for details. So,
I'm going to click for details.
Perez Hilton showing up on Impact is the 6th biggest story on Perez Hilton's own website, which isn't encouraging. But there you go. Out of 7.
After all the Ashley Tisdale mom group drama, of course. And that's a bigger story, 9. Let's be honest.
Oh, there's one that literally says spilling the tea. I was joking. It says spilling the tea. Meghan Trainor breaks silence on Ashley Tisdale mom group drama.
Oh my God. How much story? What happened?
What is going on with this Ashley Tisdale mom
I gotta
group?
know. Look, I gotta know
now.
Unfortunately, nobody in my life would know that, so I don't know how to know that. With TLB would know Ashley Tisdale's mom group drama, right?
I could ask her if she comes down here to to get a snack if she's smoking weed up there.
Yeah, okay. Well, if she makes a venture, ask her.
So the next story is Mom Talk, Hollywood style. Meet the other alleged members of Ashley Tisdale's supposedly mean and toxic mom group.
The carrying cross of celebrity news is Ashley Tisdale's mom group, I guess.
This is the hottest story in celebrity gossip.
Wow.
It is 4 of the top 8 stories on PerezHilton.com. Either that or that's the only story he has sources to.
Right. Which also leads credence to that's also the carrying cross comparison there is the only story all these people have directly from the horse's mouth is the carrying cross story. Wow. Okay.
He's alluding that Katy Perry is banging both Justin Trudeau and Orlando Bloom.
Okay.
That's
similar looking men, so she's got a type. Good for her, I guess.
There was an Orlando Bloom story a few years ago where some hotel receptionist got fired because she went up to his room and banged him, and the manager found out and she got fired. And my wife was irate.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right.
She was like, "That's bullshit. She can't clock out and then do what she wants and go upstairs and bang Orlando Bloom." She's like, "I would have banged Orlando
Absolutely.
Bloom." I'm like, hold on a second. Now, what?
Orlando Bloom's pretty. I get it. Yeah, he's a pretty attractive man.
And she's like, "I'm just saying, in another world where I'm not married and I'm working at a hotel and Orlando Bloom comes in and he wants to bang me, I'm gonna bang Orlando Bloom." And I was like, I guess I can't argue with that. I guess I can't. That woman agreed, and she lost her job.
That's not. She's not the first or the last, or I mean that happens all the time. Whatever hotel she's at, I mean that probably is a very frequent occurrence.
Every day, a celebrity checks into a hotel and talks to the receptionist.
Yes,
meeting them up there later, or her for that matter. Yeah, I mean, people be fucking, Rich. People be fucking, and you can't stop it. Hillary Duff likes to get freaky. The lyrics in her new song are straight up nasty.
Oh, all right. I'm going to check
Perez
that out.
Hilton,
Hold on a minute. I'm into that story. All right. See, I get the appeal of Perez Hilton again. All right.
Who knew Hillary Duff was still making music?
Good for her, yeah.
But he clearly does not like Hillary Duff. He is all over Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
And, he's addressing Bradley Cooper plastic surgery rumors.
Okay. I'm interested in this Hillary Duff sleazy lyrics here. One sec.
I'm just scrolling through these. I thought we were going to reach an end, but I think this is an endless scroll. So I think I'm going to have to stop.
I did. I scrolled a little bit, and Cher does not think Dax Shepard is good enough for his wife. Well, Dax is getting a lot of Cher. Cher doesn't think Dax Shepard is good enough for his wife, Kristen Bell, I believe. Yeah.
What business is that of Cher's?
I don't know. I have no idea, but Cher's chiming in on it. Yeah.
Why doesn't Cher fuck off? It's not her business.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Go worry about your kids, and don't worry about what Dax Shepard and whatever her name is.
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell, whatever the fuck they're doing. Leave them alone. I don't see how that Cher's business. Does she have some relation to one of these people?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Well, now I'm annoyed by that.
Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed too, but I'm too busy trying to find these Hillary Duff lyrics, but I can't find it, so we'll just move on.
All right. Well, that's what's going on in the world of Perez Hilton.
All right. Well, you and Perez Hilton checking in on TNA next week.
Oh, he's got a Patreon.
Should we bring Perez Hilton on the show?
His podcast is behind the tier. What's going on?
So it's still this is still the Perez Hilton is still doing all this.
Yeah, the Perez
he
Hilton
hasn't
podcast.
sold this out. He hasn't sold this out, and now someone else is he is still grinding on this.
This is him doing the
God.
grind. The Perez Hilton podcast with Chris Booker is what you get on the Patreon. The current they just put an episode up.
Who's Chris Booker?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you knew. You said it so matter of factly. I thought you knew Chris. And I was thinking, man, am I weird because I don't know who Chris Booker is? But okay.
Actually, I think Chris Booker was a radio DJ in New York, if I'm not mistaken. But I only know that because I lived there. They just put a podcast up 8 hours ago. It says spilling personal stories about Ashley Tisdale, Hillary Duff, Meghan Trainor,
I'm in.
Megan Moore. They are. Let me say, he is leaning into this Hillary Duff, Ashley Tisdale thing. I mean, he is just leaning in hard on this mom group. So that must be the big story in celebrity gossip. So a lot of Meghan Markle in
she still does numbers.
Headlines.
She still does numbers. I thought that kind of waned out.
She's clearly still doing numbers.
I thought that waned out after they were like, all right, look, we're not going to be involved in anything anymore. Just leave us alone. And it's apparently not okay. So she's still doing numbers.
He doesn't like her. He accuses her of money laundering.
That's a hell of an accusation there. Holy shit.
It says Meghan Markle has outdone herself. Click to hear why. Joe Jonas is inept at what I don't know.
It's just inept in general. Yeah. Okay.
So it says Andy Dick is not well. When has Andy Dick been well?
Yeah. Well, I know I did.
Yeah, well.
There was a recent thing that Andy Dick is very much not well, but yeah. That's been going on since 1995.
I mean, the Reaper's been tracking him down for 25 years. Yeah. I mean, we're all waiting for the tweet to drop. Yeah, so that's what's going on the Perez Hilton podcast. A lot. They love this mom group thing.
Yeah, I gotta find out what's going on here. Yeah, unfortunately, the nurse would have no idea. I don't even know if she would know who Ashley Tisdale is. So that's an unfortunate. So I can't get. Yeah, well, you'll have to see if TLB comes or maybe a text or something like that, because she's a little more in tune with modern pop culture, especially working. I'm sure working at the bank, there's a lot of downtime. You're talking. Yeah, water cooler talk, that sort of stuff. Like my water, I work with all men, so all of our water cooler talks just Bears, Caleb Williams, that it's just that sort of stuff. So,
ooh, Selena Gomez is in a thruple.
Oh, hold on, I'm interested. Let's talk. Yeah,
how much is this Patreon?
Yeah, hold on. Let's get it. Why not? I mean, that's
$4.99. All right,
that's not bad. Yeah, that's a lot of good value.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that's actually the new Patreon content. Is I subscribe to Perez Hilton's Patreon and I talk about it. I talk about Selena Gomez's thruple.
Someone's like, "Are you sure this Patreon has been updated recently with some of the names in the?"
Yeah, it's true. Perez clearly has like a lane here, and all these celebrities are like 30 to 38 years old, and that's clearly where Perez is at. Yeah,
it says 8. It says 8 hours ago the last podcast went up. So yeah, these are current topics. I know Hayden Panettiere or whatever doesn't sound like it's a hot topic, but he talks about Hayden Panettiere.
She can't be doing anything anymore. Like,
I don't know what to tell you. That's what it says. It's I can't even pronounce that name. But they know who I'm talking about.
I never could. Yeah.
She played the superhero, and what was that show? I don't know. That's been canceled for like
Heroes.
a decade.
Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very simple name. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a big Heroes watcher?
I remember the show, but no, I never really watched it. So.
Yeah. All right.
I do remember her though. I don't remember watching her in anything. I just remember like she was like general hot woman there for a while. When you go to these websites and be like, Hayden is stunning in her bikini at the beach or whatever. And you're like, all right, yeah, I guess it's fine,
She got a Cabbage Patch face. One of them big face blondes is what she is.
Yeah. Cabbage Patch.
Well, you know what I mean when I say that. It's like Renee Zellweger.
She had a big forehead. I remember her forehead being quite large, and I was always like, yeah.
All right. Renee Zellweger, I stuck my face in a beehive kind of face.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
she was hot in the days when we were there was a long time where we were doing like on the forum days, like this is how great things used to be. There'd be a forum, and you'd go to a forum, and there'd be a dedicated thread that was just guys posting hot women all day.
Yeah,
and she'd be a frequent, you'd be like, hey, here's a picture of her. Yeah, respectfully, and there was never any smut. It'd be like her looking hot in a dress, and everybody'd be like, yeah, she's hot, and that was it. That's all you did. That was just what we did on the internet at those days.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, Minka Kelly. Someone would post some hot Minka Kelly photo, and everybody like, oh yeah, Minka Kelly's hot, and then we move on with our day, and that was it. No smut. We weren't telling AI to undress her. We were just like, oh yeah, she looks great. Moved on with our day. So,
Grok, put her in a string bikini.
Right? None of that. No, none of that.
And then Grok does it. What is this?
Oh, God. Very legal, by the way. Yeah, very legal behavior going on that apparently is, because it's never enforceable by anything. So, yeah, you could just ask Grok to, that's cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool. But, back in our day, we used to be more distinguished on the internet. You might not think so. You might go to some, the post would sound bad. Yeah. It would sound like, hot pics of girls or whatever, and then it was just hot pics of women, and then just a bunch of dudes being like, yeah.
I'm not going to say that the lines weren't crossed on a 2004 forum. That would be considered line crossing today.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. There'd be things you could not say about women posted by various men, but
it's a different time. It's like different culture. Can't judge. It's different time. Can't judge. Different time.
But yeah, she was like a 2007 hot woman. I remember.
Well, she's still a hot topic on the Perez Hilton podcast. So I don't know.
I think she does anything anymore. But
I don't
anyway,
know either. I don't know what. Yeah, no clue.
Eva Mendes, I always remember people posting her all the time. Yeah, that's just
when
classic hot chicks back in the day. And you called them chicks. I would never call them chicks anymore, but that was what the thread was called. It was called hot chicks. You know what I mean?
Of course it'd be chicks.
It was always chicks. Yeah. Like a word that you hear. If you ever hear somebody use the term chicks in real life, now you're like, that sounds terrible. But in those days, it was just chicks was just, like hot chicks. Like, 18 plus, and you clicked, and it was just, just hot women.
18 plus.
But it was never that crude. You know what I mean? Like, that was forums, man.
Hot chicks 18 plus.
But then it was never that bad. It was just,
You're right. It would always say 18.
But it was like hot women and,
Oh, God. Yeah. Ava Mendez right around when Training Day came out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Forget it. Fucking. Yeah.
Yeah. Prime Ava was a multi-time all-star, dominated the league. She did. She was an all-timer. Yeah.
Ava Mendez. With that stupid birthmark. Absolutely.
A whole lot of it. Stupid. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ava Mendez.
So Jizzle says we used to have a babe draft on the torch boards every year. Yes, that is so nothing screams 2007 message boards more than a babe draft. That's it. That's the essence right there. If you want to know what the internet was like, a babe draft on a pro wrestling message board. That's it. That was what the internet used to be. And it was better. I'm telling you. It seems impossible to believe, but it was better.
Yeah.
It was so much better.
It was.
Drafting babes. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, God. I got the 8th pick. Uh-oh. Hopefully Jessica Biel will still be available when I'm drafting. Like, what are you doing?
Hoping to get Jennifer Love Hewitt on my wraparound pick.
Right. You guys think Eva Longoria will still be available at 11? I don't think so.
Fucking stupid. But it's true.
It's so much better, though.
True.
All right. That's our new Patreon. Joe and Rich reminisce the old internet.
Yeah.
And by the old internet, we mean the internet from 10 years. No, God, that's 20 years ago at this
10.
point now. Yeah,
Way
Jesus
more
Christ,
than 10.
20 years ago now.
20 years ago. God.
All right, these guys have to stop sending. Okay, people stop sending us stuff in the chat room because you're just going to keep distracting me. But I do in the chat room. I have to. 2007 to 2010, Megan Fox was pre-ACL Derrick Rose, and it's perfect. What a comp!
Yes. It all went downhill with Machine Gun Kelly. That ended.
Yeah. Oh, you can't be attracted to a woman who's attracted to Machine Gun Kelly. No.
No. Knowing that penis has been inside of her holes, I can't. No, it's just disgusting. It's vile. Just sickens you, honestly. But she went straight downhill after she met that guy anyway. It's like not even
right.
The looks went down the fucking drain too.
Carlos says you should do a 2009 Babe Draft as a Patreon exclusive. We will not be doing that. Thank you for the suggestion. We will not.
Carlos Pastrana, I have deftly avoided being canceled for the longest stretch of my life. You think I'm going down that road and flushing that all down the toilet?
Babes. Chicks.
If you think Georgetown not hitting a bucket for 23 minutes, I'm on that kind of streak of not being canceled, and I'd like to keep it that way. Okay, so no, we will not be doing a babe draft. I've never been a horny podcaster though. That's never been my MO.
No, never.
I have never been a horny podcaster. I will never be a horny podcaster. That wouldn't even like fit our gimmick, honestly.
No.
Being doing a horny draft. Could you imagine us doing a horny draft? It doesn't.
No, I was. Yeah, and I was more of a lurker in those threads anyway. I wasn't much of a poster myself. So.
No, me neither. See, that's the funny thing. Like I wasn't going to say anything because I was letting you, because it was a good bit. I never participated in that stuff. It was like never my thing to like be horny over women on the internet. I know that sounds counterintuitive to who I am, but that was like never my thing. But if we do that 2009 draft, I will take Lacey Chabert. There's no question about it.
She's still out here killing it, man. I don't know.
In the Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Hallmark movies. Yeah.
I'll be flipping channels or whatever, or like occasionally I'll be like, it's fucking Christmas. What the hell's on this? And it's her. And I'm like, fuck, she's still, how could you be killing it for 25 straight years? She's still at it. Good for her.
It's
aging like fine wine over there. Good for her.
Absolutely.
Good for her. All right. Let's talk about wrestling now. We did kind of talk about wrestling, but let's actually talk about wrestling here. Let's start off with New Year Dash.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think we got to talk some wrestling.
We were already talking about something, and then what were we talking?
We were talking about Perez Hilton debuting in TNA. Well, because I talked about BDE. You were done with contract seasons, and I wanted to get this Perez Hilton gimmick in, and then that took us on a path that we may never have recovered from if I didn't.
But did we break down the contract season? I guess there's nothing to break down.
There really wasn't. I mean, the people.
Mustafa Ali resigns
Ali's back. Great.
Nobody else wants him.
Yeah, nobody wants him, and I don't want to watch him. So perfect. Great for him to at TNA. BDE, whatever. It's just some YouTube guy, and sure, great. I think the Jake something signing. First off, Jake Doyle, great name. Love it. I adore that signing. That is the perfect sign for AEW. That's a guy who just perpetually. I could never understand. TNA had that guy for like 7 years, I think, 7 or 8 years. Technically, he was contracted to TNA or a part of TNA, and there was some times where he'd come and go or whatever, but did nothing with him ever. Never pushed him. Never. I think he got an X Division title shot one time. Never got world title shots. Never featured in anything. That is just unbelievable to me. After all those years, you never just kicked the tires at least for a little bit on a Jake something run. I think he's gonna be perfect in AEW. And that first day. I saw the video because the video came out before Dynamite aired, and oh my God, that video of Don Callis talking about, I got this guy, and he's slapping their big chests and talking about we're going to kill people. Oh my God. Oh, my heart. Be still my heart. Just big, burly dudes. Don Callis is slapping their chests, talking about killing guys. I loved it. And then those guys showed up in, black pants and black, wife beaters and ripped them apart. And I was like, oh, this is wrestling, man. This is it. So I think that unit's going to be great. That team of Doyle and Davis and whatever they're going to, and Doyle and Davis, that just sounds cool on its own too. So that's pretty fun. But I think he's a great pickup for AEW and is exactly the type of signing that I always talk about that I wish AEW did more of, is finding guys that have been underexposed and still have a lot to offer. Good workers, good looks, and underexposed. Not guys that have WWE stink on them, not guys that have been on national TV for 10, 15 years in main event roles or whatever. Someone that's new and interesting and different. And yeah, is Jake Doyle going to be, main eventing All In and win the AEW title? I don't know, probably not, but he's definitely a good guy to have on your roster. And who knows? I think he does have a ton of potential. So he's exactly the kind of guy where you don't know what the future holds for him, and that's exciting, as opposed to a lot of guys they sign, and it's like where the future is on this guy or that guy or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm way into it, and I love the combination of him and Davis, and that's going to be a great tag team. And I'm really excited to see what they do moving forward.
Whew. All right, the perfect length of time on that Jake Doyle. Thank you. Yeah. I talked about Doyle on the Thursday Dynamite review, and I had a lot of similar thoughts. That's a tag team constructed for me. I mean, this Doyle Davis tag team, it's what's missing in pro wrestling. Just a couple of meat slapping ugly dudes. There's not enough of that. It's like anything else.
No talking, just grunting. Just grunts and flexing. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, and it was probably a time in wrestling where there was too much of that, and but there's not enough of that right now. And and he is a guy who historically has just not been pushed hard enough anywhere he's been. And I know he got pushed in DPW. I didn't follow that promotion. That's really the only place that has ever pushed that guy.
AAW did, yeah. In Chicago, AAW did. He was a champion and stuff there too. So he got a little bit of a run there for sure.
Yeah, so it's just I feel like he's been an underutilized guy for a long time. That used to be one of the pound our fist on the desk talking points here. Why doesn't anybody push Jake something? Nobody pushes this guy. While also simultaneously saying that that's a pretty dumb name. And I think that they, like you said, and I echoed this thought on my audio, that the name is great. I mean, it just works. And it is his actual real name, which helps too. But yeah, so I'm excited about that, but we'll see. It's AEW. Sometimes they'll roll out a new act and then they just disappear forever.
Right.
Or they might just be standing around like Lance Archer every week on TV and doing nothing. So, we'll see. But I think that's a good pickup. It's a sneaky pickup, and it's a guy that, again, like you said, I don't know if he's a world champion, but he's a guy that you can definitely push and feature on your show if you give him a good role, and this is a perfect role for him. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and someone in the chat room put up a good point. Lee Connell said, I'm really happy for Davis as well, and I am too. I think that's another thing that, there is something for Mark Davis. Like, obviously, Kyle Fletcher lapped him and passed him, and there's no point in putting Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis together anymore. That Kyle's on a trajectory well beyond where Mark Davis is at. And we all knew that. At some point that was going to happen with that tag team, and they would have to move on, and Davis would be the Marty Jannetty, quote unquote, of the tag team or whatever. But there's a use for Mark Davis. Mark Davis is not a crummy, crappy wrestler that you just stuff into Ring of Honor or quietly do nothing with until his contract expires or whatever. That's not Mark. Mark Davis has value, and this is great because I think that's a perfect role for him. Just be a big bruiser. Don't have to talk, be a part of a tag team. I think that is ideal. So them finding something to do with Mark Davis is really cool as well. And I'm excited to see what happens with that team.
Yeah, for sure. He was a guy who was right on the cut line because there was really no role for him. He wasn't standing out. And it's nice because again, this also enhances his value and gives him something to do. Like I talked about on my audio, I would push this team to the fucking moon. I would have them beat somebody every week on TV. Establish them as a serious threat, push them as far as you can go, all the way to the tag titles if you have to. Put them in a program with the Bucks. I think there's a great dichotomy there between those two teams.
Oh, those guys tossing opponents. The Bucks around, that'd be good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Tony just doesn't do things that way. No. He doesn't do that. I've been calling for that. Sign a monster tag team, put a monster tag team together, and have them run through the roster. Tony just historically doesn't book that way. He doesn't even really book. He doesn't book big guys well. He books big guys.
No,
he doesn't like big guys. It's not his thing. He just I don't. We're probably working ourselves into a shoot, but yeah, that's a good sneaky signing, and we don't have any thoughts on Ali. I just don't think anyone else has any interest in Mustafa Ali other than TNA, because AEW had a million chances to sign that guy the first time he was a free agent, and they didn't. In fact, this might have been the third time he's a free agent now that I'm thinking about it. And Yuya Aoki, who leaves Big Japan, that speaks to both the state of Big Japan and Yuya Aoki. If he does end up settling in somewhere, is a nice worker. So he could, fit in one of these all Japan, NOAH level places and be, if somebody has a good idea for him, and be a nice addition to the roster. The last thing you want to see is he just ends up in GLEAT or something. And then it's you may as well retire. But yeah, so those are the three latest names with contract season. And
GLEAT's having some issues too. If you look at their roster, we can check in on that, at some point down the line or whatever. But yeah, there's a bunch of guys leaving the ship there as well. So I don't know if it's fully sinking, but it's taking on some water because Yoshino is done. He's not going to be there. He was their figurehead commissioner there for a while. I think he's out. I want to say big guy. I think Tamura is either out or a freelancer, something like that. There's a lot going on. We'll check in with GLEAT at some point because I think there's going to be bigger news coming out of there soon. But yeah, I would say them basically saying, okay, our paywall is over. We're just going to upload shit on YouTube again. Everything that you did pay for, if you did pay for GLEAT last year, it's just up on their free YouTube now. They just made it all free again. So you just completely validated your investment in GLEAT for some reason. So sorry, Mike Spears, for paying all that, but we're just going to put it up for free on YouTube now. So yeah, there's a lot going on there too. So
where Yuya Aoki would work a lot when he wasn't working in Big Japan, right?
He worked
a lot of 0-1.
He did. I remember that.
And he worked that Tochi Pro New Year's Day show. And those are the old 0-1 promoters. I'm just saying, maybe that's where he spends the majority of his time working Tochi Pro in the extended 0-1 universe, which this podcast world covers extensively.
Yeah,
so you're
absolutely.
Hearing a lot about Aoki.
He was in because he was in the tag tournament thing too, right?
He was. Yeah, he worked he did. You're right. He worked he did work and he teamed with Daishiya Hashimoto.
Okay. Okay. All right. He was with Hashimoto.
Show.
Okay.
As they were the two Big Japan guys. He didn't work the tournament. He worked the tournament with Daishiya Hashimoto, but they didn't get to the final. They were on the final show though. In just a random match. But yes, Daichi Hashimoto and Yuya Aoki representing Big Japan worked the 0-1 tag team tournament. That is correct.
Okay.
And then he worked the Tochi Pro January 1st show. So he worked both sides.
Interesting.
Of the split. So who knows? Maybe he settles in that part of the world. Rich, when's the last time you saw Daichi Hashimoto wrestle?
Oh God, had to be probably pandemic, probably 2020.
Okay. Are you wondering how he's been looking these days?
Not really. I'm assuming it's the same or worse.
You have missed absolutely nothing.
Same boring, nothing happening. Does he look the same, moves the same, acts the same, nothing changed?
He actually looks to be in good shape. And believe it or not, he's only 33 years old, which stunned me when I looked it up. But yeah, just the same boring ass dry worker.
He's 33.
But he's only 33 years old. Can you believe that shit?
I guess we were watching him. We were watching him when he was like 23 or whatever, and we were watching him grow up in this industry. But holy shit, he's only 33. Like there's still a chance you can have a career at 33, but it's like you're never gonna bet on Daichi Hashimoto at this point. It's over. I mean, that ship has sailed for sure. Wow, 33. That really stuns me that he's only 33.
Yeah.
So we were. I mean, yeah, we. It's probably unfair to him that we were watching him so young in his career and judging him on pretty unfair expectations of his father. But still, yeah, he has not met any expectations that anybody had for him. So,
no.
Anyway. Andrade. Andrade is all elite again for the third time he has debuted in the company. He is the only guy that I believe has had 3 debuts. I don't know if he's had 3 graphics or whatever, but he got the graphic. So whatever non-compete contract stuff he had with WWE presumably has been resolved. Because
seems like January 1st might have been a key date there since he showed up in New Japan on January 4th and he showed up in AEW on the very first show post January 1st.
Yeah.
So obviously January 1st was whatever deal they came to. It was probably 2026, you're free and clear to do whatever you want.
So Roosh's lawyer, because I remember Andrade said that Roosh put him in touch with the guy who knew about these non-competes and got him out of it. So
he did. His name is Smart Mark Sterling, and he did a fine job.
Right. What if it was?
Maybe it could have been.
That's great.
Maybe
God, Smart Mark Sterling.
Yeah. Maybe it was the barrister, R.D. Reynolds. Could have been him too, right?
Yeah. Oh God, I love Smart Mark Sterling. Someone said, "Does Daichi still scream a lot?" He used to be a big screamer.
I didn't note a lot of screaming.
Okay, so maybe he's chilled out. He did because there was that while where remember Will Ospreay was a screamer for a while too, where everybody said, "Will, you got to sell more." So he decided, okay, every time I get hit, I'm just gonna go ah. It's like okay, that's not exactly what we mean.
Meant, Will. That's not what we meant. But you're on the right path, though.
Right.
Keep it up.
An arm breaker does not mean you need to scream bloody murder every single time and grab your arm and start crying. It's a little in between, somewhere in between.
He finally found it.
He finally found it. Yeah, he did.
Give him credit. All right, so I'm sure there'll be some more contract season stuff for the next couple weeks until things settle down. All right,
let's go
New Year Dash.
Yeah, let's talk New Year Dash here.
New Year Dash, yes.
I loved it. You did big picture stuff on Flagship Plus. I'll just do some big picture here, and then we'll go match by match here.
Floor is yours. Yes.
I thought it was a very encouraging show from New Japan Pro Wrestling. A very encouraging show. I thought we talked about it on the Dome. And by the way, we're not going to be reviewing Wrestle Kingdom. If you're wondering, well, you guys are going to talk about Wrestle Kingdom, right? No, we did Wrestle Kingdom on Instant Reaction Live, flagshippatreon.com, $10 tier. So if you want to go and hear our thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom immediately following the show on Sunday morning, we did that there. $10 tier, flagshippatreon.com for our thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom 20. So yeah, again, we're not going to be covering Wrestle Kingdom here, but I think you and I were both encouraged by a couple of things. We talked about them sticking the landing, the things that they needed to do. Aaron Wolf needed to have a good debut. He did. Yota Tsuji had to go and win the title and have a good match and establish himself as the top guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling as the champ. He did. And then, the Tanahashi Okada had to go out there and work their ass off and have a great match and have a great send-off for Tanahashi. And they did. And the vibes were very good. Even though the first half of Wrestle Kingdom was kind of a so-so show, some good, mostly bad on the undercard, but the big matches mattered. The big matches were good, and the big matches delivered, so that's all that really mattered. Wolf delivered, Yota Tsuji delivered, and the Tanahashi thing was great. So it was like, okay, what's the follow-up? And we've seen this. There's been good Wrestle Kingdoms, and then New Year Dash comes, and it's just kind of a whatever show, and then slowly but surely whatever momentum or confidence we have in New Japan starts to wane a little bit, and then by New Beginning it's lost, and then by New Japan Cup it's like forget it, they're the same old shit. And that's kind of been happening a lot over the last 5 years. This Dash show, I will say, when it was over, I had probably the most confidence and the most excitement that I've had in New Japan Pro Wrestling probably in 5 years, probably since the pandemic. Like, this show was done and I was like, we might be back. Like, you used to ask me, we'd have these New Japan shows, and you would say, are we back? And I would say, arm's length. I'm not ready yet. I don't want to do that yet because it could switch on a dime and things could get real bad real quick. But this was a very encouraging show, not only in that, like, it continued a lot of momentum from Wrestle Kingdom, but it did a lot of the things that I've been talking about and hammering home that I really want New Japan to do more of, and they just continue to kick the can down the road for the last 5 years, and that is establish and push the younger half of your roster. And this entire show, you come away from this entire show thinking the new generation is here. Tanahashi is gone. That door is closed. And maybe that was it. Maybe they needed the harsh reality of Tanahashi's gone, Naito's gone, Ospreay's gone, Okada's gone, Omega's gone. They're all gone. They're all gone. They're not coming back. Maybe you needed that harsh endpoint of Tanahashi retiring to do it. But when this show was over, you're thinking the new generation of New Japan is here, and they're the top guys, and there's no one else. Like, this is it. Because you have the opener, and we'll go match by match, but real quickly, you have the opener with Murashima. I mean, he was the focus, that young lion Murashima, and his interactions with Tomohiro Ishii, that was the focus of that match. Next match, Shomakato. He was the clear focus there. Shomakato and Takeshita. The interactions between them, the interactions between Shomakato and Rocky Romero, that was the focus after that match. And then obviously you have Aaron Wolf later in the night and what he did and him, continuing to establish himself as an in-ring worker. Callum Newman and that great angle and him, taking over the United Empire and establishing himself alongside Will Ospreay making his return and building up a potential feud between Callum Newman and Will Ospreay. Then you have the main event where the Knockout Brothers just established themselves as like the dominant team of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They put away TMDK. They put away the World Tag League winners. They do it in convincing-ish fashion and a really good match and cut great promos afterwards because I watched their press conference promos and they were really good. It's just, you leave this show thinking, holy shit, they have, this desire for them to push the young wrestlers and push the next generation. These guys, when are you ever going to flip the switch on any of these guys? And this show ended, and it was like the switch has been flipped on so many of these guys, and I cannot wait now for the next New Japan show. And I haven't done that it's been an obligation for me to watch New Japan over the last 5 years. And at one point last year, I just said, you remember, I had the conversation with you. I just wiped my hands. I said, you know what? I'm just not going to watch every New Japan show. I'm going to watch the big shows, and I'll watch stuff that people recommend to me. But I'm not watching every show anymore because I'm just not into this company right now. And I'm watching it out of obligation, and I'm not really excited when I watch it, and I'm not finding any interesting takes about it. But this is a show. When this was over, it was like, all right, let's go. Like, I can't wait for the next major show, and I can't wait to talk about it. I couldn't wait for this segment here on the Flagship for you and I to break the show down. That's how encouraged I was by this show. And it's not like an all-time great show either. It's not like a show that I'm like, oh, this was a match of the year contender, and that was a great match. It was just the vibes and the aura and just the direction of the company feels to me so much better than it has in so long. So yeah, I'm more encouraged by New Japan right now than I have been in probably pandemic, probably 2020.
Yeah, so that's a lot of what I said on the Flagship Plus the other day. I think that this New Year Dash was the most interesting Dash show probably since the one in 2016 or whatever year that was, where they shot that big angle where Kenny Omega turned on AJ Styles and kicked him out of the Bullet Club. Because not so much because of the angles on the show, and the United Empire thing with Will Ospreay I thought was fantastic. I mean, that was just pitch perfect in every way. I thought Callum Newman was great. I thought Will Ospreay was great. I thought what they potentially set up, it has me at like the edge of my seat. Will Ospreay is going to go back there and they're going to do something with him and Callum Newman, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But it feels like New Japan had a fire lit under them on the 4th and the 5th, and really finally set out for the first time in so long to truly give everybody a direction. And not just the tippy top stuff, not just the heavy focus on the two young lions at the start of the show, as you noted, because yes, that first match was totally built around Murashima, and the second match was totally built around Shomakato. That was the point of both of those matches.
Absolutely. And both of them looked very good too. Murashima's the guy I've had circled for a while, and man, he's good. He's good. And that stuff with Ishii and that crowd, the crowd telling you, yes, this is what we want. I thought that was so encouraging too. This crowd really buying into these young lions and the story of them and the story of Ishii. And there was a lot to, those two matches, I will recommend those two matches, particularly the opener. as a match that you should go out of your way. If you're listening to this and you're kind of thinking, like, is it a great match? I wouldn't call it a great match, but you should watch it because it really shows just how good the Young Lions system can be if it's done well, and just how encouraging this Murashima guy is, because he's got that charisma, that big room energy. Like, there's a lot to love about that guy. I'm really, really encouraged by him.
But then they also did angles up and down the show, just setting up programs, like mid-card programs, like Akira Francesca coming out and attacking Taiji Ishimori and Hiromu making the save. That's not going to be some big-time program in the company. But there's just an example of the attention that has been paid on over these last two shows to giving as many people as possible at least some direction. And that's something New Japan hasn't felt like it's had in a long time, just a motivated direction. These feel like motivated directions, and I love what they're doing with Yota Tsuji. I love the way Yota Tsuji is approaching being champion. I love the fact that they brought back the old design of the belt. I think that's important. I think it's very symbolic.
Brought the lineage back too, which is really cool. So he is now the 87th
Absolutely.
IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So the whole Divas belt, IWGP World Heavyweight Title era, let's destroy the lineage and the history and the prestige of this title for no fucking reason, which we hated at the time and bitched about, and everybody told us
everybody was a mistake.
And everybody said, "Oh, you're taking it too serious. It's just wrestling. It doesn't matter." It does matter. That shit matters.
Everything matters.
You can't build that. You can't create that. Prestige and history comes with time, and you had built that title for decades. It had such a cool lineage and such a great background and such a prestige, and you burnt it on fire and threw it in the trash for no fucking reason whatsoever.
For no reason whatsoever.
So we've corrected that. It doesn't right the wrong, but it gets us back on the right path. So he is the 87 champion, and all those guys are now going to be just, lumped into the lineage of the heavyweight title, which is perfect. That's exactly the way it needed to be, and it should have always been.
Even Will Ospreay put out a tweet saying, "I am now officially in the lineage of the IWGP heavyweight title." And or whatever it's called, what like the IWGP
just
title,
IWGP heavyweight title, no world
heavyweight title without the world part, yeah. And he was the 79th or whatever it was champion, as he noted. It matters. That stuff does matter, and a respected history is one of the easiest things to maintain in pro wrestling and keep important, and help you to draw and to throw it away like that was very dumb, and we knew it at the time.
WWE did that too, time and time again too, which very much annoyed me, and I've never really cared about titles in that company. I mean, for a number of reasons, but when they started doing the breaking from that tradition, it was like, what are you doing? Like this title has history back to Buddy Rogers, and you're just pissing on it and just making new titles, and now I have no idea. If you put a gun to my head and said which of these WWE titles has the lineage back to Buddy Rogers, I don't know. Yeah. I have no clue. Is it the
That's something Cody has. One of the ones Cody has.
Is it that one or is it not? I don't know. It's
one of the ones Cody has, because the other one's the one that Punk has is the fake one that
that's the whole made out of folk. Yeah,
nobody thinks of that as a world title. That's the one that like Damian Priest and Jey Uso held.
Right.
That is clearly not a real world title. Just look at the people who have held it. It's a bullshit fake world title. That again, no history, no lineage. Now, over the course of time, if true main eventers hold it and they make a serious attempt at giving it some history, maybe that could change for another generation of fans. But that company, it isn't even worth talking about.
No, they don't care, and they're not going to, and it doesn't matter. But for New Japan, there was just no reason to
threw it away for absolutely no reason.
Yeah,
and it might sound silly, but I cared about the belt less when they did that.
Absolutely,
it made me care about the belt less. I'm like, it's not, they're telling me it's like a different lineage. It's not the same belt design. It doesn't feel like the title that I've been watching for years and years and years. It feels like something new, and I don't want something new. Why do you want a new title and new title lineage? You don't want that.
No, you want the opposite of that. Yeah, you don't want to say this year's Super Bowl is actually the first Super Bowl, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? You've spent all these decades building up the Super Bowl to have this prestige, and you could show, B-roll of all these past Super Bowl champions or whatever. Why would you ever say, actually, you know what? This is the new Super Bowl. Those other Super Bowls don't matter. This is the new. You would never in a million years do that. The World Series, you're going to come one year and just say, yeah, sure, the World Series has been going on for 100 years. Fuck that. This is a new World Series. The Dodgers are your first World Series champions. Like, you would never do that. Sports would never ever do that, because it would be a disaster. It's just stupid. And there's no point in hell. College football has been chasing that ghost for years and years and years, and finally now has corrected it. Obviously they had the issue with the BCS era and stuff. And one of the big reasons is that people just didn't like the idea that it was like, hard to track that lineage back, but it's also weird because it was like the polling numbers or whatever, and people wanted it to just have like, just tell me who the champion is so we know every year who the champion is. Like that sort of stuff matters, and New Japan had that for so many years, and I always loved. I mean, I would get goosebumps when they would play that video. That fucking video they'd play every time, and it would be the roll call of all the past champions. I mean, how cool is that? That history matters, and you can't create history. You know what I mean? History doesn't just, you don't snap your fingers and history happens. You can book well, you can make stars over time or whatever, but history takes time and careful planning over many, many, many decades and just respecting it. And it's so hard to build it up, and they had it and they just pissed it away for no reason. So I'm really glad they've gotten back there. And I'm not ashamed that I care as much as I do about that, because I think it matters a lot.
So in the opener, I thought the Tomohiro Ishii Murashima stuff was just electric. And Ishii got busted open, so the accidental blood always takes things up a notch. And I thought those two guys, it reminded me of years ago when Tomohiro Ishii had that electric series of matches with Hanare. Some guys just have great chemistry with each other. And the chemistry that Ishii had with Hanare is very similar to the chemistry he has with Morishima. And it also made me think about how, I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but Tomohiro Ishii just does not hit the same in AEW, and never has. He does not come across the same way. He just doesn't hit the same.
Because the fans don't give a fuck about Tomohiro Ishii in AEW. They don't. I've been at shows.
That's part of it. I agree with you. I do think that's part of it. But there's something else too. And I don't know if it's he doesn't take it as seriously. I don't know if it's just the house style. I don't know if it's he's not given the opportunity to work the kind of match that he needs to work to come across the same way. But it has never quite hit the same. There's been one or two AEW matches where I'm like, oh, that's Big Tom-ish. That's Big Tom-ish right there. But and then you see him here, and it's like, oh, holy shit, he's still the same guy. He's still the same fucking guy, where he just has this unique charisma and this unique ability to just outwork everybody he's in a match with. And
it made me think he's underutilized in New Japan. When this match was over, I was like, I still don't know if they get enough out of Tomohiro Ishii that they can and should in this company.
I mean, there was a time where they did, I think, when it peaked Ishii, like 2016, 2017, around that period of time, where he was in the Never Mix. I didn't want to see him pushed any harder than that. Honestly.
No, and that's fine.
That was fine for him.
Yeah, when I say underutilized, I don't mean that I want him winning world titles. That's no.
Yeah, I know you don't mean that. But I know you don't mean that.
He needs to. He should factor into stories and stuff more than he does.
And he got the big world title match against Tetsuya Naito, the one that brought me to literal tears. And that's all you need out of him. He's not someone who should be a world champion or anything like that. But now they just do absolutely nothing with him. It got to the point where I was thinking to myself, does he just work for AEW now? Does he even work for New Japan? But I guess he does. But yeah, look, if they're going to use him to help get Murashima over, and I don't know if that's going to be the case. It could have been just the randomness of them being paired together here. And it probably won't be the case actually. But they just were magic together. They really were electric. And and then they shot an angle with Ishii and Umino is what they did after the match. Those two had to be pulled apart. But then Ishii was one of the guys who came out after the main event with Taichi, right? Wasn't he one of the two teams? Wasn't that one of the teams that came out when all those tag teams came out to challenge? Or am I remembering that wrong? It was a bunch of teams came out.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was him in Taichi. I think so, but I don't remember 100%, so I don't want to say for sure.
So, so the Morishima thing was probably just a one-off in that. But their work together was just fan. And then the next match with Takeshita and Rocky, what we talked about with Shoma Kato, I mean, that was Kato again. He was the clear focus. But then they shot an angle with Takeshita and ELP. So that's, Takeshita will probably challenge for that TV title at some point. I don't know if it's one of the things that they've announced. I guess we can go over that in a minute. But maybe they'll do that in the U.S. Maybe they'll do it on one of the shows. I don't know. But it looks like we're getting a Takeshita ELP program, which, again, is also fine by me. And another example of giving people a clear direction and a motivated direction for what's next.
Yeah, and I think that was the theme of this show in general. What's next or whatever. So Wolf, or you want to go? We can go match by match, I guess. So the Bishamon I don't have any super strong thoughts about this one. It was Goto and Yoshihashi, Oleg Boltin. They defeated Sonata, Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi. I guess the big news out of this is that Sonata had the thing on his guitar that said like goodbye or I'm out of here. Fuck this place. I forget what it was. Who cares?
Yeah. So I was told before I did my audio, and this is what I said on the audio, that he was 100% going to be taking some time off, and then it really is up in the air from there.
Okay.
They don't know what he's going to do. And obviously, the first thing that everybody's going to think about is hooking up with Naito and Bushi, right? And doing whatever freelance shit that they're doing. But then, literally hours after I posted my audio, New Japan announced themselves that Sonata's taking a leave of absence and left it at that.
Okay.
He's unsigned is the point.
Well,
he doesn't have a contract.
I'll leave him that way. He's the perfect kind of guy that at this point in New Japan's history and with all these young guys that we're talking about, he's the perfect guy that you say, thank you for your service, appreciate it, bye.
There is quite literally no reason to bring him back. None. He's been there forever. He was there inexplicably, was the world champ for like almost a year, which is unbelievable to look back.
Yeah, well, every time I go and see that, I forget. In my mind, he had the title for like a couple months. I forgot that he was champion for a year.
I take it back. I take it back with the lineage. Let's just keep that out of the lineage.
You're right. That's part of it.
I take that back.
Yeah. Sorry, Will. Sorry, Hiroki Goto.
Sorry, Shingo. Sorry, Will. We can't have Sonata as part of this thing.
That's true.
But look, there's no reason to bring him back. He's totally low effort. He's getting up there in age. He's peaked as a performer and a star.
Never very good anyway, to be honest.
Look, there's no reason to bring a guy like this back. It takes up a spot for somebody new and fresh. Let him go. Let him go slum it up somewhere else. So, that's what was going on with Sonata. And I guess that was the next match where Bishiman and Oleg Boltin beat Sonata, Kanemaru, and Yujiro. And I don't really have much else to discuss regarding that. We had United Empire. In this case, it was Andrade, Francesco Akira, who returned the night before at Wrestle Kingdom, and Jacob Austin Young. Did you have Andrade teaming with Jacob Austin Young on your bingo card?
I did, but that was a good looking unit. Those guys, that was a good looking trio. That Andrade all chiseled out of granite, and Jacob Austin Young, he's a good worker. Like, he's a guy that I always, when I see the name Jacob Austin Young, I feel like he's 24 years old, but I think he's like actually 32. He's way older than you think he is for some reason. In my mind, for some reason, he's like a young, hotshot up and comer, but it's like he's just kind of like a dude.
Because he didn't have a high profile career before he got here. Right. But he's just a guy. I mean, he's fine. He's fine. He's a
pin eater for the unit, and that's fine. And Akira's a very welcome addition back into the roster because he's very good. So I'm happy to have him back.
Yeah. So I mean, I have again, this is another match where, in fact, I have no notes for this match. Not only that, not only do I not have notes, I didn't even number it on my note. Like, I have one less match in my notes because I didn't even number this one.
The thing the big news out of this match was afterwards, Andrade was talking shit, and Gabe Kidd grabbed the mic and was like, "Oh, you want to talk shit? Fucker, let's fucking fight!" So we're gonna get a fight with Andrade and Gabe Kidd.
Directions. So, then we did House of Torture has to get their heat back, of course.
Oh,
so we had Aaron Wolf, Master Wato, Toru Yano.
He's got to get better friends. Can we get Aaron Wolf better friends? Like, this is...
He's got terrible friends.
He's got horrible friends. This is like every year, Hiroshi Tanahashi, it'd be like World Tag League, and it'd be like, Tana, you need to pick better partners, man. Like, Yoshitatsu and Captain New Japan are not the guys. Like, you got to find better partners. And every year he'd go, middling World Tag League performance because he just was too loyal to the biggest geeks on the roster. So yeah, Wolf's got to find better friends. We cannot have this guy hang around with these fucking dorks. Like, what are we doing?
Well, he did almost nothing in this match, so it was just the House of Torture again, slumming things up, and it was not a good match. And this was not, if you haven't seen Wolf, watch Wrestle Kingdom. Don't watch him here. Next match was more United Empire. This time, Callum Newman, Okan Hanare, and Jake Lee. I want to talk about Jake Lee for a minute. And they beat Finley, Maloney, Shingo, and Yota Tsuji. We talked about Tsuji rolling out the new belt at the start of this. We did that already.
That pop when they saw the V4 belts. You tell me that lineage and that belt doesn't matter? Listen to that fucking pop when he showed up with that title, man.
And it's important because it fits Tsuji's whole deal of bringing the prestige back to New Japan and being a full-on New Japan guy as opposed to, Takeshita, who's got split loyalties and just symbolically, he's someone, look, I'm going to lead the company and I am full-blood New Japan. So a couple of things here I want to note. Callum Newman. This guy just keeps getting better and better. And not just from a performance standpoint, but from a confidence standpoint as well. You just feel it and see it in his performances.
A lot of bad takes. Remember those takes that people had about him?
Don't think for 1 second I wasn't about to go there.
Okay, good. Get them. Get their asses.
So this is what we do on this show. So when he first came to the company, you and I were really his only boosters, and we're like, yeah, we've been watching this guy in Rev Pro. He's young and he's not going to look great at first. And he's a teenager and his body needs to fill out.
And Ospreay loves him and handpicked him.
Yeah, and predictably he didn't look great at first, and people, buried the shit out of him, and he doesn't belong here. And of course, there's a whole segment of Puro fans who instantly reject Gaijins out of hand. We see it time and time again. Not good enough for their precious Japanese wrestling, And I just sat back and said, all right, I think I came on this show and even made like a proclamation, like I'm betting my whole fucking pot on this guy. And if I'm wrong, you can tell me, but I at the end of the day, I'm not going to be wrong. This guy's going to be great. And I stood on that 2 years ago, and I stand on it now, and it's looking pretty fucking good. Okay. Because this guy does nothing but get better and better. He cuts excellent promo. I don't know how much of the promos you watch, like the post-match.
Oh yeah. Jay Michael makes me watch him, and he's a big proponent of them. By the way, Voices of Wrestling on Comment 2026 New Japan Primer. So if you're jumping back into New Japan after a while because you're like us and kind of lost the love of what New Japan was all about, and Jay Michael did a great job of breaking down what's going on in the company, who the big players are, it gets you up to speed on everything going on 2026 and moving forward. That's on the sidebar. If you go to Voices of Wrestling on Comments on the sidebar right there, you can also look up 2026 Primer. But he's a big proponent of the backstage comments. Will often send me them when they're really good. And Newman's are great. His are really,
Newman's
really good.
Newman's are great. And I never expected. It's like that part of his game I never predicted or expected to become great. But his in-ring work is great. His body is filled out. When he was standing nose to nose with Will Ospreay, who is not a small man by modern wrestling standards, he is both larger and taller than Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay is a 6-foot guy who, thanks to lots of vitamins and protein, has become jacked over the years. A lot of chicken breasts, okay? Yeah. And is not a small pro wrestler by modern standards. He's 6 foot, 6'1", and he's got a true heavyweight build. And Callum Newman is visibly considerably larger than Will Ospreay now. He doesn't have a muscular body. He's got a big, strong wrestling body. He has that body that Kyle Fletcher had for a while when he first gained weight, before he leaned back out and turned it into lean muscle. And it hasn't stopped his athletic ability at all. His trademark is running the ropes. That hasn't lost. And his work is so much better and cleaner. And you want to know why, Rich Craich? Because he's 23 years old, and shock of all shocks, 19, 20-year-old wrestlers aren't always a finished package. And you should probably be careful when you bury guys like this, when it's very obvious, or maybe it's not. Maybe a lot of people just don't have any fucking eye for talent. Because if you couldn't tell that this guy wasn't going to make it, you have no eye for talent. I knew this guy was going to make it the first 3 matches I ever saw in Rev Pro. He's 18 years old. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a guy. This is so obviously a guy if he sticks with it.
He jumped off the page immediately, too. And
remember, he was like early Will Ospreay, skinny as a stick and a gangly looking geek, just a flippy do guy, has no concept how to work or sell yet.
Well, that's a perfect name, a perfect example. We were on board with Will Ospreay pretty much from day one, and everyone's saying, oh, he's thin and he yells and he screams, he doesn't know how to sell, and he does this.
This is even earlier than that. And what did I say all along the way about Newman? I said he is ahead of where Will Ospreay was at the same age, and he was.
That was your narrative. That was you said that every single time. He is where Will Ospreay was when Will was 23, and this kid's 19.
I said you better be careful because he is way ahead of where Will Ospreay ever was at the same age.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's from us following sports because that's how you compare people in sports. Oh, at the same age, this guy is way ahead of where this guy was. Or, all right, this guy's good, but he's already 27. There's not much more. Like, you got to approach it that way. Okay? And he's still ahead of where Will Ospreay was every step. Now, it's staying a little closer now because this is where, at 23 is where Will was really starting
to
make some headway. But you get the idea. And you look at Callum Newman now, and with the added confidence and his body filled out because he was a literal fucking kid when he showed up in New Japan. He was literally a child in Rev Pro, okay? And listen, he looks like a man now. And he's still only 23, and now he has years of experience working these New Japan tours. This was the most predictable outcome of all time. The most predictable outcome of all time. And I'm sorry, some people aren't going to like this, but if he wasn't British and he wasn't a foreigner, the narratives would have been a lot different.
If he wasn't Will Ospreay, if Will wasn't...
And if he wasn't Will Ospreay's protege.
Yeah, exactly.
If he was just some guy out of the dojo, okay? But he was a native and he was exactly the same guy, people would have been high. I mean, that has so much to do with it.
Absolutely.
When it comes sometimes to these Pearl fans, but anyway, it's got to be even more obvious now. I mean, if you don't see it now, you're just dragging your feet. And then of course they shot the big angle after this with Will, and Will's going to do everything in his power to help get this kid over. Okay. Now I don't know how far Callum Newman's going to go. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the next megastar in the business or a future IWGP champion or a megastar on American TV. What I can tell you is Callum Newman is going to have a major league career for the next 15 years. And from there, who knows? But there's no doubt about that. And there was a lot of people who did a lot of laughing at this guy not that long ago. So, Rich, it's crazy that you thought I wasn't going to bring all that up. I mean, come on.
I know. Yeah, you've evolved over the years, but you haven't evolved that much. It's still got to do a victory lap and got to tell people when they're wrong. But no, I remember reading those things, and it was like, even like last year at times, people were like, he's one of the worst wrestlers, and I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, you're so wrong, but all right.
Yeah, okay.
But sure, have fun with that one. You're going to be proven wrong.
Sorry, he's 19. I'm sorry he's not Shingo Takagi yet. 19 years old. Yeah, but you can't project. You can't see what's going to happen here. You can't see how obvious this talent is. So anyway, that and the angle was so good, and he picks up the chair, and then like Okan and Hanare are like, "What the fuck you doing? No, we're not going to hit him with the chair." And I thought it was interesting that Jake Lee stayed out of all that shit. Like he's the new guy in the group. He don't even have any relationship with Will Ospreay. And he kind of just meandered around, and then he
as he often does.
like you said, he didn't even know how to do the crowns. Like he had to look to them to know how to do the crowns. Now I'm going to have a slightly hot take on Jake Lee. Yeah. Are you ready? You've been waiting for this.
Sure.
A slightly
hit me with
hot take on Jake Lee. I'm going to give him a chance. I am going to give Jake Lee a chance to grow into this role and potentially make something out of it. I am not promising success. In fact, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say that in a year's time, I'm still going to detest the sight of Jake Lee.
It's not going to turn out how every other giving Jake Lee a chance thing is going to turn out.
Same underperforming thing.
We've been doing this for 9 years now, but sure. Okay, this time will be different, I'm sure.
But I am going to give him a chance because I think unlike the All Japan run where he never had it and he never tried to evolve, and unlike the Noah run where it's basically the same guy and they thought they were going to get different results.
He's the same guy now. What?
And I don't think he is. And unlike the initial New Japan run where he tried to be like Mr. Peanut and that was never going to work because he looked like an absolute dork, I am going to give him a chance to fit into this United Empire role, this leadership role. And I was watching him during the angle, and I do have to say that I enjoyed him because it was very subtle, but he was like meandering around. He knew not to get involved. The whole thing was great. And I do think that even though he wasn't the focus at all, his role in it was important in that I think he's going to factor into whatever they're going to do down the line with Ospreay and Newman because he's obviously the leader of the group and everything. So I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not going to write him off out of hand the way I did when he first came into the company and, when he came back at Wrestle Kingdom or whatever. And it's like, fuck this. This guy never works out. I am going to give him a fair chance. And I don't know if that's because New Japan is at least making steps in the right direction to where I'm giving the whole company a fair chance now. And I'm still keeping them at arm's length, believe me. But I just feel like there's positive and confident directions for everybody. So I'm giving Jake Lee his 900th chance.
Here's the problem with
disagree.
Here's the thing. I'm glad that New Japan has an idea for him and a plan for him. The problem is this guy fucking never delivers in the spots that he's put in. People have put him in big spots. People have put him in prominent roles. I think All Japan did a great job of building up Jake Lee. The problem is when he's put in a major role and in a major match, he fucking shits the bed every single time because he's boring and not very good. And nothing that he's done in New Japan makes me think, oh, he's not boring anymore and he's become a better wrestler. What do you see in him that is telling you that he's not going to have a boring, under-delivering, meandering performance? You just said he meandered around the ring. That's what he always does. He's always fucking meandering. He's got no look on his face.
This was intentional as opposed to...
Oh, he's always intentionally meandering. What the fuck? He's like fucking Ren Ayabe is always intentionally meandering too. These guys don't have anything. There's nothing there. He's a zilch.
He reminded me of Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
He did.
How dare you?
With his creepy
2003 Shinsuke Nakamura? Or are you talking about like the Shinsuke Nakamura that people liked?
Yes, peak Nakamura. That's what he reminded me of.
Get out of here.
Sneezing around the ring. I'm like, this Jake Lee? I don't know. I think he gets it. I think he gets this character that he's doing. But again,
the character's the same character he always does. He's just kind of like floats around with his little frumpy face.
No, I don't know.
I can't believe this.
Now listen, this is going to get retconned, and he's going to have a bunch of shitty matches, and people are going to say, Joe. But no, I'm telling you flat out, it's on tape. I'm not betting on this. All I'm saying is I'm giving him a chance. Look, I've seen too much Jake Lee to fucking have a full-on hot take about it and say that he's going to become a megastar off of this. I've seen too much. But I am going to give him a chance to grow into this role. That's all. I just think I'm being fair. I just think I'm being fair to the guy who maybe doesn't deserve anyone.
He doesn't deserve it. No, he doesn't deserve it.
You know what, Jake Lee? I'm going to be fair to you. When no one else believes in you, I'm going to be fair to you at least. Okay? And this is how it's perfect because you can't bury me for having the hot take, but I will retcon this and pretend that I was fully behind him if he does break out. See, that's how you play that.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's how you play that, Rich.
You're half stepping now, but if it does
I'll
work
take
out,
the full-on victory.
I told you, Jake Lee was going to be great in New Japan.
Yeah, and then Rich is going to hit. Rich is going to go and he's going to play the fucking clip.
I probably should clip this. Yeah,
that's what you're going to do. So
because you know how this is going to end, but that's you know what? Fine. Enjoy pretending that it's not going to be the same Jake Lee that it's been for the last 10 years. Fine.
I'm not pretending that. I'm just saying I'm going to give him an honest chance. I'm gonna,
Well, sure. We don't have a choice. He's going to get pushed.
We have a choice. We don't have to give anyway. You could be out.
Well, they're giving him a chance, so we have no choice but to watch him get a chance.
Plenty of wrestlers I'm out on Master Watto. I'm never giving him a chance.
Master Watto. That doesn't really count, though. You don't have to really watch. Yeah,
that
God, he stinks.
Remember
what? There was people that were like, "You guys are he's actually really good." We were like, "No, he's not. He's a fucking geek. Fucking geek." Yeah. Get out of here.
His matches are. Look at them. All right. So the 4-way IWGP Junior Tag Team Title match.
Oh, the juniors in this company, man. This juniors in this. Alan, I know Alan Cunahan is big on this right now. How has the junior division in Japanese wrestling, in particular New Japan, ever been worse than it is right now? It just feels so rudderless and so bad.
Well, the Itchy Band Sweet Boys took home the title. My least favorite tag team name of all time.
God.
Can't they be the Itchy Band Serial Killers or something?
Yeah,
something
Sweet Boys.
Masculine
Sweet
and
Boys?
alpha.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want Sweet Boys in my wrestling. I want Sweet Boys knocking on the door to take my daughter to the prom. I don't want to watch Sweet Boys in pro wrestling. I want fucking Jack Doyle and Mark Davis in my route. That's what I want.
Right. I want the Ichiban Savages. I don't want the Sweet Boys.
Yeah. I want the Ichiban, I will fuck your mother behind your back. Right. That's what I want. I don't want the Sweet Boys. So anyway, they win these titles. And it's a lot of guys doing a lot of stuff. Do you want to break this match down? Or do you want to just...
don't.
Okay.
I really don't.
So... Friend, this is where Akira attacks Ishimori and Hiromu makes the save. So We're going to get a little non-title junior program involving all those guys.
Great.
So
I'm really excited to see interactions between Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Shimori. That should be
well, they're on the same side.
Yeah.
George.
Oh wow.
They're not.
Wow.
They're not opponents this
Yeah.
time. They're on the same side. And then the main event, which everybody loved, was the Knockout Brothers retaining the tag titles over Rohei Oiwa
They're the goods.
and Zack Sabre Jr. I didn't like this as much as everybody else. I
Oh,
don't know.
do you like the Knockout Brothers though?
Okay, let me be clear. I thought it was a good match. People are going to say I did. Look, I thought it was a good match, a very good match, excellent match, notebook match. But I just don't have the overwhelming praise for this that I was seeing in all of our haunts. I thought it was fine. I'm not a huge Knockout Brothers guy, to be honest. I'm not. I think that Yuto Ice, I like everything about him except his overbearing persona, which is what everybody likes about him. I don't like the Yuto Ice thing. I'm not into it. He's like KZ from 15 years ago. Like, what is this act? And then Oscar, I don't buy Oscar in what he's trying to.
Oh man,
convey
I'm digging Oscar these days.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, the match was very good. This is a team that on paper, I'm not really ever excited to watch them. And I know there's a lot of people going to be mad at me because they're really into Yuto Ice specifically. But I think Yuto Ice potentially has a really big future. This gimmick is very off-putting to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see it coming across a little try-hardy to me, but
it's try-hardy.
But here's the thing: in an era where so many wrestlers, and I talked about this on a Wrestle Kingdom, and I guess it links perfectly to Jake Lee. So many wrestlers today have the like solemn, like I come to the ring and I have no emotion. I'm too cool for school, and all this sort of like. There's so many wrestlers that have that sort of approach to their characters these days. That somebody like Yuto Ice, who's just like. Make sure every second that he's in a match, like you hear him, you see him, you feel him. Like that stuff, I like
eyes
that.
on him.
Yeah, I kind of, I long for that in wrestling. So I think that's something that I don't see. It's like some people see him as like this is like the guy that's going to completely revolutionize New Japan Pro. I don't see him quite at that level, but I think he's very good as half of a tag team. I don't know if I see this guy as like a world title guy at any point or whatever,
Well,
but
not with this presentation.
No,
but
no. It might change a little bit, but I love the idea. He's got a lot of confidence and a lot of charisma, and I just like the idea that he's out there and he's boisterous and he's loud and he's just it's such a missing. So much of wrestling today is like at a 5, and everyone's just at a 5 all the time. And I love that this guy is maybe a little bit to an annoying degree. And Gabe Kidd used to do this a little bit too, and it would annoy people and it would annoy me as well. Sometimes when you're 10 out of 10 all the time, you're like, all right, chill out, brother. Like I get it.
That's the comp I was going to make.
Yeah, and I think he's got a little bit of that in his game right now. Yeah, I think he'll settle in. I think he'll settle in.
It's a little too much like it was with Gabe Kidd, but sometimes you have to be that way to establish the identity. It's very high energy. You can't take your eyes off him. It's just it rubs me the wrong way a little. That's all. But if it connects with the audience, that matters more than if it doesn't connect specifically with me. There's been many wrestlers over the years that connect with the audience, but do not connect with me.
And I think Oscar's a great big man. Sorry, not to cut you off there, but I think he's a good. He's got a lot of velocity to his big man.
I don't really
game.
have any problem with his work.
Yeah,
I think that it just feels forced. He doesn't feel natural in this role.
They don't feel like they should be friends. Like they don't look like two men that would actually be friends.
Yeah.
He needs some facial hair or something like that. The look's a little rough, but yeah, his work's good. His work's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't want to be overbearing about it because I don't feel like I want to be overbearing about it. They're just a little too fun for me. I don't know. Too much fun it's too much fun in wrestling these days. I just want guys to beat each other.
Yeah, see, I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't see them. I think there's a fun in them, but it's done in like a pretty. There's a lot of badassness in them too. They hit hard. And he's a fucking bowling ball out there. Like I see what you're saying. He's got a little bit of that. To me, he's more of like a Dragon Gate fun, where it's like Ben K is kind of goofy at times, but then when he wants to, he'll go off the ropes and he'll take your fucking head off or whatever. And I think that's. I see what you mean though, but I don't. To me, I don't leave a Knockout Brothers match thinking that was a lot of fun. I leave it thinking, God, that guy killed it. They fucking killed those guys.
Look, you have to connect with audiences in different ways, and he's found a way to connect with the audience, and I'm not even saying he should change. Would he be more appealing to me if he came out there like Daisuke Sekimoto in black tights and a mohawk and just beat the shit out of people? Yes. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying for me personally, This isn't my jam. That's all. I would find him much cooler if his whole thing was, I call myself the Knockout Brothers and I'm just interested in knocking people out. I'm not interested in dyeing my hair or trying to look cool. I'm just interested in knocking people out and being a fucking badass motherfucker shaped like a fire hydrant who you can't beat up. That would be more my lane. But you have to connect with the audience any way you can. And it's undeniable that he's connecting with the audience. And then they gave their promo where they basically did the Wolf of Wall Street, we're not going anywhere, after they planted their own rumors that they might be going somewhere. So they obviously also get it from that standpoint, where it's like, all right, let's plant some rumors that were based in reality, by the way. Okay. From what I understand, they did get an offer. They didn't want to take the offer, but they used that offer to leverage a better deal from the Young Lion deal that they were on. The day before, someone told me they were still on the Young Lion deal and that the suspicion in the locker room was that they planted that story with Selfmade as leverage. And then I heard the next day from someone that I was pretty much on the right track. And, I just wasn't sure whether they really got the offer or not. And I'm told they really did get the offer.
No, well, good for them.
From Matt Bloom in WW.
That's how you do it.
It was. And then they took that and used it for the leverage to get the better deal out of New Japan, which is where they want to be. So from that standpoint, they get it. And then he gets a chance to go out there and give the rah, we're not going anywhere promo, which gets them over even more with the smart fans that are aware that that shit was out there. So, they retained. It's funny because I didn't think they would retain, but they did. So the company believes
that says a lot
too.
So yeah, I think that says a lot too. That
they're an exciting act. That it's So it is exciting young act that the company is getting behind. So how can you complain about that? So
you had that question about who came out afterwards. So to let you know, and everybody, we kind of clarify this.
Well, it was Ishii and Taichi.
Yes, and then it was Umino and Yu Uemura, and those guys are going to face off in a number one contendership match at Road to New Beginning, Korakuen Hall, the 19th.
Yeah, and that's why Ishii had to pull apart with Umino after the opening match. Mm-hmm. So I was scared they were going to do a 3-way, which I do not want.
No.
But they're not doing that.
They're not. Straight up tag, yeah.
So what do we know as far as what's coming up?
So we do have the beginning. The Young Lion Cup is back. So they're doing first-round matches of the Young Lion Cup. We have a 10-man tag, Aaron Wolf, Desperado, Wato. Yeah, again, he's got to get better friends versus House of Torture, so we're just going to run that back again. United Empire versus the now Unbound Company. The unaffiliated War Dogs thing is done, and now they're out. Unbound Company. Gedo, Hiromu, Shingo, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji. Singles match, Sho versus Kosei Fujita. Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Robbie Eagles. Again, this is all from the 19th. This is the Road to Beginning, Korakuen Hall 19th. Never Openweight 6-man, TMDK, Hartley, Oiwa, and Sabre versus Bishiman, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Oleg Bolton. Then your main event is Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii versus Umino and Yu Uemura. So,
yeah. So there you go. So, things are looking positive for New Japan for the first time in a long time, where I am feeling somewhat positive about the directions in the company.
Yeah.
And this, I think, through the 4th and the 5th, they really did everything they had to do, because I was ready to bury this company under the earth if they didn't stick the landing on a lot of this stuff. And if they didn't stick the landing on some things at Wrestle Kingdom, and they had another dry New Year Dash, and they didn't really set the tone for the year or anything like that, this would have been one of those epic shows where I just bury them with a fucking shot, where I become the ditch digger that Mr. Catenacci said I was going to be, and I bury this company completely under the earth. And I was ready and prepared to do that, but I can't.
No,
I can't. I am legitimately positive, cautiously optimistic about what New Japan is doing in the very early stages of 2026. I think they've set themselves up perfectly after these two shows.
I should note too, on the 20th, they're doing back-to-back nights in Korakuen, the 19th and the 20th. The 20th, you have an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title match. The Ichiban Sweet Boys versus Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru of House of Torture.
Fuck off.
Sounds awesome. And then your main event is Dookie defending the Junior Heavyweight Title against El Desperado. So, not great.
I mean, the tag, the tag match is going to be a pile of shit. We all know what that's going to be. And you just hope that whatever. I don't know. Fucking House of Torture. Who gives a fuck? So they kill the Bullet Club officially, and that's all well and good, but it's the House of Torture that needs to go. And
absolutely.
This is an albatross around the neck of this fucking company, and we need a new heel unit that is way less overbearing in terms of the quote unquote Western style heel antics. I don't give a shit about the reactions they get. I'm not moved by that at all. Okay. It's just a tired fucking act. And if we're giving New Japan a fresh coat of paint, why not go all the way with this and get rid of the fucking House of Torture too? Which is why if these evil rumors do come to pass and he does go to WWE,
be a blessing.
We know he's not going to AEW because Tony Khan won't have him. Okay. He's got some taste, but then again, you know what? Evil, if he wasn't part of House of Torture, is a perfectly fine wrestler.
We always talked about how he was a potential like dumb jock wrestler, and he just went on the complete wrong path. But yeah, he used to be fucking great. And some people still say, and he's still a good wrestler. He's still a talented wrestler. It's just all bogged down by the bullshit.
Right. So if he wants to go to WWE, I think that might be a blessing in disguise for New Japan, because maybe that will be the impetus to blow up the House of Torture and just go with somebody else as the top heel faction in the company. I mean, maybe that would be, maybe you have to force them. And a lot of times the most creative booking comes when your hand is forced. We talk about that all the time, where something out of your control happens, an injury, somebody leaves the company, there's some jumps, there's a mutiny, whatever the case may be. And maybe that's what it would take. But I just feel like, and you know what? Here's a wacky fucking idea. How about you just don't have a heel unit? Who says that can't work? Where is this?
So hold on a minute.
Rule?
You want a modern Japanese wrestling company not to have a unit of black shirt wearing cheating heels? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is this fucking doctrine, this rule set in granite that you have to have a cheating heel unit in a wrestling promotion? Where is that? Can somebody show me that?
I would love to see if that's in the
yeah. Are they going to go to jail if they don't have a overbearing heel unit that cheats in all of their matches on the? I mean, do you have to have that? Because I've been watching Japanese wrestling for a long fucking time, and while there were always heelish wrestlers and heelish groups, they weren't this kind of overbearing heel. When I watched the Holy Demon Army, they weren't yanking the referee out of the ring and doing fake bell rings every night. They were just assholes. They were just grumpy fucking assholes who cut a corner now and then. Why can't it be that way? Wouldn't that stand out? Wouldn't that be different? No, but we got to shove the fucking House of Torture down everybody's throat for year number fucking 20 in a row, wherever the fuck you want to say it is, extended from the Bullet Club. When can we just move away from this shit? And I'm going to tell you what it would do. If it worked and it was successful, and I don't have any reason to think it wouldn't be, because I don't think you need this shit. But the problem is you're teaching a generation of fans that you do. That's the problem. That's the problem. But if you did get away from it, because New Japan is the leader in that region, the other companies would eventually get away from it too. Because the only reason the other companies are doing it is because New Japan's been doing it since 2013. And it would trickle down, just like everybody follows the leader here, just like everybody follows WWE in general. It's the same concept on a smaller scale. So how about that? How about thinking outside the box when you have a perfect chance to press the reset button and tear it down and just get rid of the fucking House of Torture? Give Ren Narita and Sho a chance to have a real career. Doesn't matter what the other, nobody gives a shit about Yujiro or 900-year-old Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who's one of my favorite wrestlers, by the way, but no one cares what you do with him at this point. So maybe the best thing is if Evil just takes a hike.
It's just hard to believe that anybody can still be watching the House of Torture and be like, haha, interesting. This is incredible. Oh, they rang the bell. Oh man. It's been the same thing year after year after year after year. How can you not want something new? How can you not desire something new out of this? And the problem is, like, I don't know if you saw, but the New Beginning show, it's already locked. It's as we predicted, he's going to be with the House of Torture for a while. It's Aaron Wolf defending the Never title against Ren Narita. So he's stuck with them for a long time.
Aaron Wolf is going to be programmed with these guys the entire year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We talked about this on Instant Reaction Live. We know how Gato books. We know how this company books. He will be in Evil's block in the fucking G1 if Evil is still in this company. He will face the House of Torture in the New Japan Cup. He's going to be with them all year. Everybody knows it. So, on a show where I was optimistic about New Japan, I found a way to be grumpy about it.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still there. Yeah, they're still pervasive across the entire company, and it's a lot. And you know what, Joe? I think that's a perfect segue to Pro Wrestling Noah, because if we're talking about a unit that wears black shirts that's pervasive across an entire show and absolutely has go away heat with me and makes me want to stop and never watch your company ever again. Let me introduce you to Team 2000X from Pro Wrestling Noah. And this show, Noah the New Year, 6,278 in Budokan Hall for this show, which is a great number for them. Last year, they had 5,088, so it's a huge jump year over year. 2023 in the same building for the same show, 9,500. They run a different building in 2024. That's why I did not add them. Now, 2023, that was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Great Muta in Muta's retirement match. So that number, 9,500. You could probably throw that number out. That is not really relevant to the discussion. And 2022, 3,181 in the building. So a big number for Noah's New Year's show, and a pretty full house, which, real quick, before we actually get into the show itself, and Alan Forel has been ranting about this for a long time too. And Stardom did it for their Dream Queendom show. New Japan does it from time to time. A lot of American wrestling companies do it, and Noah did it on this night, and it annoys the hell out of me. You run Budokan Hall, and you put 6,278 people in the building, right, Joe? That's a big number. It's a nice number. A lot of people in that building. Yeah. You shoot your camera and your hard cam the entire night to LED letters that say NOAH. And it's so tight that all you see is O and A the entire time. They shot to the part of the it's this TV studio wrestling bullshit, the show about pro wrestling and not a pro wrestling show stuff that I'm just ranting. I hate, and I get so mad about. You put and Stardom did this for their Dream Queendom show. They shot towards the boxes, but they only put one person per box, so it looked empty, even though it was the biggest house, the second biggest house they've ever done, and a gigantic, incredible number for Stardom. And they shot it in the worst way possible. This Noah show, I couldn't believe it. When I looked at the number, I said they put 6,000 people in this building, and they shot to a black wall with the letters Noah. You saw no fans the entire time. Yeah. And then when they did show the crowd, they were so dark you couldn't see anybody in the building. It may have been an empty arena show for all I know. Yeah. It's wild.
Maybe there wasn't 6,278 people there. You ever think of that?
Yeah, that's possible. But
there were a lot of people there.
There were a big building. Yeah, when they did. They always do this.
3,000 people.
They do the intermission and turn the house show lights on, and you're like, "Whoa!" A lot of people in this building. They did that for Stardom. They put the lights up, and you're like, "Whoa!" What the heck? Why are they shooting to the least populated part of the building? It's so weird. It's just so strange how all these pro wrestling companies decide. One of the great things about 90s New Japan and 80s New Japan and really All Japan you can count too is those people, the salarymen in the background. The very well lit crowd and the salarymen just jumping up and down and going nuts and stuff. That's the essence, man. That's what you want. And just boggled my mind that they shot the entire time towards the letters O and A, but whatever. Okay, let's talk about Team 2000X and how fucking annoying they were on this show.
Is that what you want to start?
I do.
With okay. Yes, they were very annoying on this show. There's no doubt about it. So I think the most annoying thing was Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane. So
here's the thing with that match. I didn't watch this match I didn't watch it on New Year's Day. I watched it a couple days later. I watched a couple matches on New Year's Day, and then I had to go back, and I saw people burying the fuck out of this match. So when I watched it a couple days later, I'm 12 minutes into this match and I'm like, it's got a little bit of there's a little too much of like I don't want to hurt my brother and we're melodramatic about, they're brothers and they're facing each other. Like back in my day, brothers would face each other in the ring and just beat the shit out of each other because they're like, fuck you, I'm going to prove that I'm tougher than my brother or whatever. So again, like 12 minutes into this match, I'm like, I get why there's a lot of melodrama, but I don't know. I'm liking the work here. These guys are working pretty well. And then the last minute of this match happened, and I was like, fuck this match forever.
Well, the one thing is, a lot of people were trying to say the match was bad before the turn, and I disagree with that. I thought the match
was not.
particularly right before the turn was really picking up and was exactly what I wanted it to be. They did the melodrama stuff earlier, but that now makes sense in hindsight because they were setting up the one brother being gracious to the other, even though that guy was eventually going to turn on him. So it was like they were hammering home that one guy is that Dragonbane's a nice guy and that Alpha Wolf is an asshole, right? So that's what they were hammering home with that. The turn stinks, obviously. Another member in Team 2000X, more capital H heat. It really encapsulates what modern Noah has become. I mean, it just is what it is. It ruined what was developing into a fun match by the end. But I guess they see it as Alpha Wolf and Dragonbane have been together for a while now, and this is something fresh and different for both guys to do. If you want me to be as fair as possible in the analysis, I could see where they're coming from with that. It's just not something that I am interested in seeing.
No, and it's just one of these. It's one of these really terrible turns that I hate in pro wrestling, and I refuse to accept in pro wrestling because we don't have to accept that. Like people just say, "I'll lighten up." It's pro wrestling. Who cares? No, like wrestling, it can have logic. It can make sense. Like we don't have to have wrestling that doesn't make fucking sense. It can make sense. And this is one of those turns that just made no fucking sense because these guys wrestle for 13 minutes, and the end is that the ref gets distracted, and Alpha Wolf low blows his brother. And wins because Yoshitatsu came out and the Team 2000X guys came out and he was able to use weapon, all that bullshit or whatever. But what was the plan if Dragonbane rolled up, hit a reverse run on Alpha Wolf 11 minutes into the match and pinned him 1, 2, 3? Like, does Alpha Wolf go to the back and he's like, guys, I thought you were going to come out and help me.
I know.
That shit sucks. And then like, you can do this turn. Again, this can make fucking sense if you wanted to. Have Yoshitatsu come out and have Alpha Wolf have a crisis of conscience and just decide, you know what? Fuck this. Yeah, I'm gonna join those guys. Whatever. It doesn't. But the fact that it was like point to the temple, my plan all along, because they had a mask ready for him and they had a shirt ready for him, they had all this stuff ready for him, and it's just like it's so fucking stupid. Because why did I watch these guys wrestle for 13 minutes and then we're going to point to our temple? Yes, my plan all along was to get taken to the brink and kick out of near falls 15 times. But then 13 minutes into the match, Yoshitatsu is going to come out and then that's going to distract the referee because my brother's going to go look at Yoshitatsu and then I'm going to come from behind him and low blow him. And then that's going to be our master plan. Then I'm going to get my Team 2000 mask and it's what we want to do all along. It's just so stupid. And it doesn't have to be that way. But we just accept that pro wrestling's fucking stupid and has no logic. And I don't know why. I don't know why we can't expect wrestling to make sense and have logic, but that's a losing fight because nobody cares. I'm an idiot for caring, so whatever.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? Do you want to bounce around to the other crimes of Team 2000X?
Let's do that. Yeah. Because there are several. There are several.
Can I go over what I thought were you want me to go over what I thought were the key points of the show? I mean, how do you want to do this?
Let's do key points of the show. Let's do key points of the show because I think they're going to get involved in a lot of that anyway. So do key points of the show.
Will Cruz, this guy's great. He got over with these fans in one night, and he absolutely has earned more tours. If they don't bring him back, they're nuts. And I came into this match knowing nothing about this guy at all, and his look didn't exactly win me over. And then he wrestled the match and I was like, I need more Will Cruz in my life right this second, but I'm not watching Progress to do it. That was my takeaway watching Will Cruz, who loses the Progress Atlas title to Saxon Huxley. But to me, he dare I say, he felt like a breakout star. If they don't bring him back, they're nuts. They're nuts because he got over in the building too. This wasn't just me popping for the 350-pound man with the mullet doing flippy doos. He got over with those fans. And a lot of them didn't know who the fuck he was. So to me, that was number one. Number two was, it was very obvious that the Team Noah guys, Katoge, Ohara, Hiroki, I had someone text me very mad at me that we still call him High 69.
Too bad.
But I don't know. I think I'm going to keep calling him High 69.
Yeah, tell that guy to eat shit. We're going to call him just High 69 forever.
And Muhammad Yone, I mean, look, this wasn't really meant to be a match. This was meant to be the Team Noah guys are there to do a job so Kenta can roll out his new unit and give him a name. That's all this was. And that's what it was. And they're calling themselves the White Raven Squad. And I know there was some debate because then in the post-match promos, they were calling themselves something slightly different. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is in the ring, they called themselves the White Raven Squad. And that was the whole point of this with Kenta, Hayata, Endo, and Sasaki. This was just an angle disguised as a match so that they could roll out this new unit. Kenta got involved in the no, I'm sorry. It was Kano at the end of the show, not Kenta.
Yeah, it was Kano.
But they just, this was just to roll out his unit. And the Team Noah guys are just, I feel bad for them because they're from a different era. They're clearly never going to get pushed again. And they're just in this position where they're job guys. And that was their job here to do this job. One of my other takeaways was, first of all, the Amakasa Hiromu Takahashi match was by far the best match on the show. And it was a legitimately great match.
That was it really shows you that Hiromu does not give a fuck about New Japan anymore because he has
doesn't
not
give a fuck.
Has he? When is the last time Hiromu tried that hard? Because he worked his ass off and he took big bumps and was moving around. I was watching this like, holy fuck, yeah, he's still great. But it tells me that he knows I'm just going to coast at like 45% here in New Japan and it doesn't matter and I don't care and they don't care and nobody cares.
Listen, you want a hot take for this show? You want something people can clip and laugh at me in their group chats over? I think New Japan should let him go too and just let him go play around with Naito and Bushi and Noah and Freelance. Fresh coat of paint, man.
Yeah, he doesn't belong in that company anymore. He doesn't feel like he fits in.
He doesn't fit. He doesn't feel like he fits. Out with the old, in with the new. Now, he don't like that because he wants to make money. So I'm sure he wants to stay in New Japan. But I'm just saying from a roster building standpoint, they don't need Hiromu anymore. And he doesn't try as hard as he, you get the sense that you're right. He's not into it in New Japan. So anyway, this match was great. And then Odashima comes out for the challenge, which obviously I love.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously the main event, which we'll get into more detail of, but Kano comes out as the next challenger. You got Kitamiya involved in the post-match angle as Inamura retains over Ozawa. A lot of people thought they'd go right back to Ozawa. I wasn't so sure about that. I think they really like Mr. Smack Daddy Inamura with this bullshit act that he does. I hated that fucking match with a passion.
Oh, how horrible was that? That match
Why don't we just
sucked.
talk about that match now?
Fuck that match.
Fuck that match. Fuck both of these guys. Look, Ozawa, it's like
I'm done.
I got
with him.
tired of him. I got tired of him after a while, but you had to acknowledge he helped turn things around. It looks like the Inamura thing might be working too, so we might be stuck with this stuff. It's just pro wrestling, Noah. When Inamura came back and when he won the title, I decided I was pretty much out on Noah on a show-in, show-out basis. I'll come in for the major shows, but this is just not what I want in my pro wrestling. I can't stand this fucking guy. And I don't want to hear about the between the bells and no. Because not only do I not really agree with that, honestly, I don't see what makes him anything special as a worker. He's okay. But the rest of it is so off-putting to me that he cannot possibly win me over with his work. And this match was just a bunch of fucking Team 2000X bullshit. So this was awful. I hated this so much. I hated this, Rich. And
yeah, the work wasn't very good in between. And they didn't really, I mean, it was brawling, it was crowd brawling, and then it was just a never-ending, parade of, you're not going to believe this, a unit in black shirts coming, the referee is distracted, and the guys in the black shirts run in and hit the guy with their weapons and cheat and all that. It's just who could possibly need this shit anymore? There's a crowd, slow, boo, boo, boo. I'm like, okay, here we go. All right, great. It's just and then the end was just it's just all terrible, all horrible. I thought Ozawa was not very good at all in this match. He did not look dynamic like he used to look. So I don't know if he's still hurt or whatever. He's pretending like he's hurt half the match or whatever. It's just as it's going on, I'm like, what is this? Can you just go in and wrestle? Can we just have two guys that want to win this heavyweight title, fight to win the heavyweight title? Can Ozawa just say
no? We can't because Noah fucking stinks.
Right, it's bad. It's a very bad company right now, and
the problem is they have
a
great look. It was nice to see them have a big attendance in a big building, and the show felt big.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that. The same thing with All Japan, and we're going to talk about that next. It was so nice to see an All Japan show that wasn't a single cam show in front of 400 people, and it was like vibrant and a big building, good video quality. And this felt big, and Noah feels big, and I want to like Noah so much, but they don't want me to like them. That's the problem, and I don't like them.
Yeah, they don't love you back. They don't love us back at all.
No, this is not for us. This is they want to be NXT. They want to be NXT so badly. They want to make their WWE masters happy so badly, and I just can't get down with that. So one of my other points I wanted to talk about was the Good Brothers and how great they were on this show.
They were really good. Yeah.
And now it all makes sense because now we know because they won the match and we know they're coming back. So obviously they were, they're pumped up because they're working for a job. But this was the second best match on the show. I don't even think it's close. Like, it was the second best match on the show. And the third best match on the show was Saxon Huxley and Will Cruz.
For 8 minutes.
Yeah. Who could have predicted that?
Yeah.
But the Good Brother, even Doc Gallows took some bumps.
Okay, so I did the bump. I did the bump count for you because I know we were going to talk about it. Flatbacks. There wasn't many flatbacks. Now, here's what he did. He would go over the top rope and land on his feet, and then somebody would come off and do like a tope or a suicide dive, and he would fall that way.
Gently fall to the ground.
Yes, so he did that 3 times. So I'll give him credit. He did that 3 times.
Yeah.
He then one time bumped into the corner and put his back, as we predicted he would do, back against the turnbuckle, and then slowly lowered himself down. So he did do that. Yeah. And then I don't know if this counts, but he did a drop kick and he had to land on the ground after he did a drop kick. So I don't know if that counts as a bump. His back did hit the mat after he performed a drop kick, but I don't know if you're going to count that as a flat back bump. But those are your Doc Gallows bumps throughout this match. But yeah, he really went to the well of, all right, brother, here's what you're going to do. You're going to put me over the top rope, and then that young kid, he's going to hit me with the suicide dive. I'll go down. We'll go down. It'll be good business. So he did do that 3 times.
Carl Anderson was great in this match.
Was Carl Anderson good. He's still
so
good.
Hard.
What a waste. This guy had been for a decade.
I was watching this match, and I could not stop thinking they are trying to get a job.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing. And as it turned out, they already had one. But they were trying to impress, as it turns out, their new bosses because they worked so hard. Jack Morris and Kaito Kiyomiya were great. They were flying all over the place and bumping like crazy. This was a legitimately very good tag match, and I think everybody has to apologize to Rich Craich, who said the Good Brothers match looks fun. It was clipped as I predicted.
Yeah.
It was clipped, but it ended up being fun. It ended up being the second best match on the show.
3 of the 4 guys were too good for it to suck, and then Gallows, he tried.
Gallows tried harder than he usually tries. He did. And Carl Anderson was just vintage, like full-on effort Carl Anderson.
I think the thing with Carl Anderson is that he knows when to turn it on and when not to. He's this very smart worker.
For sure.
And he knows in WWE it does not matter. He can go out there and work his ass off, and it's never going to matter. So when he's in that company, he doesn't work his ass off. And there was times in New Japan where he used to work his ass off, and then he finally realized, whatever. I'm in this Bullet Club bullshit. It doesn't really matter. Occasionally he'd put it on, like if he got into a singles match or he got to the finals of a cup or whatever, he would try. But he kind of largely realized, it doesn't really matter. But when he tries and when he knows that there's a reason to try and he's going to get rewarded by trying, he still is a very good worker. So yeah, I think people perpetually underrate Carl Anderson because he is still very good. And this night showed it, that when he's in there with the right guys and he's trying, he is still a very, very good wrestler.
I am stunned that WWE hasn't stolen Jack Morris yet. I can't believe it. I mean, he's obviously has a great look and he's an excellent worker. He definitely works to the standard of a major league company. He continually gets better. And they obviously have their claws in this promotion and they have their eyes on it. How have they not stolen this guy yet? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I would be all over him if I were WWE, but he's only 32. It's not like he's 40. So they've signed guys that are older than him and stuck them in NXT. Ricky Saints is older than Jack Morris.
Of course, and he doesn't look. He doesn't look 32 either. If you saw a picture of that guy and said what, I think most people would probably say like late 20s or whatever. I don't think anyone would think he's like 24 years old or whatever.
Looks like a guy in the prime of his life.
Yeah,
he just looks.
Right.
and he's in great shape, and he is. I don't get it. And you know, at this point, my usual thing would be, well, good. I don't want to see somebody retire, but I don't give a fuck about Noah. Like, Noah stinks. I wish Noah was good. I like everything about Noah except that that it's Noah. I know that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. I like everything about it. The presentation, it feels major league. They've got a good roster. They've got variety on the roster.
Wrestle Universe is a great service too. It always looks good. Yeah. It works.
But it sucks.
Yeah, but it fucking stinks. Yeah,
but
all of it stinks.
It sucks, you know? And Good Brothers will be back, and they won the match here, and they're coming back. And then they did the tag title change. You know, it's Bushi and Naito win the titles, and Naito brought the title to Wrestle Kingdom, and they beat Kano and Marufuji, and the match was brutal, and Naito is completely fucking finished.
He's
just completely
done.
Finished. He's completely done, and he still gets the big reactions. I think he's probably smart enough to know that if he were full-time somewhere, people would lose faith in him to some degree and not treat him like as big a star. I think he knows he needs to be in limited doses because and you could tell. I mean, he's got more tape on those knees.
He can't run. He cannot run.
Do anything. He's just completely immobile. It's bad. I mean, it's bad.
It was stark. I thought the time, you know, I know he's been doing some shots here and there, and I thought maybe the time away and maybe the fact that he was in a big building in the semi-main or whatever, not the semi-main, but third match from the top in the tag title match or whatever, that he might be able to channel something. I don't think he can channel it either. No,
he's done.
I don't think he can do like Tanahashi did at Wrestle Kingdom and say, "All right, body, I need you for one more time." I don't think he. That's I've seen what. I know people that look like that, and I've seen athletes that look like Naito looks right now. You can't turn that on. You can't tell your body, okay, today I need you to really work your ass off. Like we got to do this. We got to fight through the pain. It's not even a pain thing. It's just he's done. He's finished. He's
physically
gone.
Incapable of being a passable pro wrestler.
No, it's over.
It looks like he can't even work out because he's getting pudgier too.
Very pudgy. Yeah.
And he had the kind of build where he was going to get pudgy in his 40s anyway. But now I don't even think he could work out. Like he can't do cardio with those knees. You know, I think it's just it's going to go even further downhill fast. And I think it was extra striking to a lot of people because they haven't seen him in a while. You know, it wasn't as surprising to people who've been following some of his freelance stuff, but it was very surprising to the rest of us who haven't seen him work in a while. He is just, he's done, but he's still a major star. And obviously this also feels like a situation where it's very similar to Andrade in that maybe he couldn't be anywhere until the turn of the new year when it comes. Because I don't think he worked anywhere in Japan.
Let me double check. I don't think so. He did mostly WXW stuff in Germany.
He did all the stuff in Europe.
Nothing else in Japan. And you're right. They didn't announce him either, which is an interesting. You know, we said
didn't announce him.
They were doing the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He'll be here, but he did Hong Kong, but not Japan. Interesting.
Not Japan. So I think it all makes sense now. They probably couldn't legally announce him. And then he probably couldn't legally work until the turn of the year. And then as soon as they brought him in immediately on the 1st. Because somebody in Japan would have booked that guy between fucking May and now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the deal was he couldn't do anything until 2026. And obviously he's one half of their tag champs. Do I think he'll be working spot shows in small villages? No. But it's obvious that they can afford him, and there's no reason not to bring him in because he's going to sell some tickets.
Absolutely.
And you talk about that number 6278. I'm sure he had a lot to do with it.
Of course.
So it's a tricky situation because it's like he's a big star, but he can't work at the standard of New Japan anymore. And honestly, with Tanahashi being gone, as I said, I think it's better just to do a clean sweep of everybody.
Rip the Band-Aid off of all this. Yeah, start new, start fresh. Don't even have the temptation of any of these guys. Like you said, don't even have the temptation to go back to the old the security blankets. Like you're done. Like rip that blanket off, rip the Band-Aid off, go fresh, go new. There might be some bumps in the road, and there might be a couple. You might be thinking, man, it'd be nice to sell a couple thousand more tickets to this show if we had Naito. But just don't. You got to build that next generation and just don't look back. Don't look back. Sonata wants to go. Haruma wants to go. Evil wants to go. Fine. Go. That's all old generation guys. Worry about that new generation. Worry about the next level of these guys. What a weird. I'm looking at his cage match. Oh my! He went to Hong Kong in October and faced the Panther Brothers. I kind of want to watch Bushi and Naito versus the Panther Brothers. And then he didn't work again for another month. And then he went to Singapore. Get this. He won the SPW Southeast Asia title in a triple threat match, Joe. Dub Butcher Man putting his title on the line against Naito and The Statement.
Well, it's the old indie wrestler trick. You convince them to put the title on you because then they have to book you at least one more time.
Dub Butcher Man. I'm surprised they got the title off Dub Butcher Man. I didn't think they would ever take the title off Dub Butcher Man, but they did. So,
well, Dub Butcher Man has always been known for doing clean business. So,
as a long rep, we've always talked about Dub Butcher Man doing that. Yeah.
So he had no problem with that. So that was Noah the New Year, and then they did the Noah New Year reboot in Shinjuku Face. I didn't catch that.
I didn't either. Yeah, after this show, I was like, I'm good on Noah for a while. I needed a Noah cleanse. I'm good for a while.
I think I'm going to, for the purposes of my job, check in on the Korakuen Hall main events and whenever they work a major building on a major show, but I don't think I need more Noah in my life at this point. But I can tell you that glancing at those results, did you see that the Good Brothers won another match? So they're pushing them, Rich. They are pushing the Good Brothers. And obviously, Kenta's group got another win on that show. They beat a hodgepodge team of Team Noah guys plus Eita and Jack Morris with High 69 and Yone this time. So that was some of the key stuff that jumped out at me looking at the results. Junta Miyawaki, I think this may have been his last match with Noah until he starts working those DDT dates. So he'll be working DDT indefinitely. Again, keep an eye on that. Could be a soft jump. We'll see. And because, again, Miyawaki's a guy, too, who's been in Noah forever. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people realize that. And it could be a situation where it's just this new regime and they want to push different people and he might see the writing on the wall. And all I'm saying is we have seen time and time again where guys go and they're like, oh, we're going to work over here for a while, but I'm still a fucking,
they almost never go back.
And then they never come back. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. And I don't know anything. I'm just saying that, it's like how many times have we seen this? It's so I just wouldn't be surprised. That's all. So you want to jump over to All Japan now, or do you have any
real
thoughts?
Quick? We should talk about the main event angle. We mentioned it a little bit in passing, but I think this also annoyed the hell out of me. So Inamura is doing his post-match promo, and he does this thing where he speaks in half Japanese and half English because I'm an American and I went to America and it was great. So I'm going to talk about America. Like he does like a boring like I talked about. He does like a 2009 Chikara gimmick. He's like a fake Stan Hansen. He's like a Stan Hansen cosplayer. It's like some DDT gimmick from like 2007 too. You know what I mean? One of these just
real bad.
It's just annoying. It's like, oh, I'm American. I'm an American man, and I went to America, and I'm telling you all about America. As I wear a cowboy hat and stuff. It's fucking stupid. But
yeehaw.
Yeah, it's really dumb. So he comes out and he's like, if anybody wants to challenge me. So Kano comes out. And Kano comes out, and Kano's like, all right, motherfucker, I want a shot at this title. So he's walking to the ring, and as he's walking to the ring, Masa Kitamiya from Team 2000X comes from behind and puts him into the post and then walks into the ring. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's it. So now Masa Kitamiya, because he beat up Kano and got to the ring before him, he is now going to be the challenger. And that's when I X'd out the video and I was like, this company's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's a stupid ass company. One other thing that I loved as well about this night, and then we can leave because I have we talk about All Japan. I had this in my notes, and I absolutely love this. So during the Good Brothers match, and I meant to mention it during the Good Brothers match, but I'll mention it now. Stu Fulton, who does English commentary for Wrestling Noah, and does a decent enough job. I think Stu Fulton does a good job. So he's talking about
the giant, or he is the little guy.
No. I always have to again. The Stu Fulton is the giant, and the elf in his pocket or whatever is Mark Pickering. So is it an elf? What's he supposed to be? I forget what Kelly Harris said he was.
Whoever made that joke, and I don't remember.
Kelly Harris, host of Jumping Bomb Audio. Yep.
Yeah, that is just Pitch perfect.
It's just the best. So yeah, Stu Fulton is a giant and not the little man in his pocket. The little man in his pocket is
Can't listen to them do commentary and not picture
without
that.
thinking about it. Yeah. So I have to pose this question to you, Joe, whenever you're ready to answer this here. Talking about the Good Brothers, Stu Fulton is going over the resume and he goes, Doc Ellis, Carl Anderson, former RAW World Tag Team Champions. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what's he talking about? And then I'm like, wait, Raw. Oh my God. So now my question to you, Joe Lanza, is there's possible scenarios that played out here. Is Stu Fulton doing the I'm too cool for school, so I don't know what RAW means, even though he obviously knows it means Raw? Does he somehow, for some reason, not know that Raw is an established brand of American pro wrestling? Or maybe one of those two. Maybe it's got to be one of those two. I can't. Maybe I don't know if a third scenario exists. So is he just being I'm too cool for school, or does he not know that Raw is what? Or maybe three would just be accident, just a complete accident. He's running over. He's looking at his list. He looks down. He sees Raw. He thinks RAW. He just says the words and then just kind of moves on and doesn't really think about it. What scenario played out here?
I think Stu Fulton does not watch WWE at all.
Okay.
And I think that it never occurred to him when he was reading off the Wikipedia page or wherever he got this information from that Raw would have their own tag team titles, because if you don't watch WWE, why the fuck would a TV show have their own tag team titles, right? So I don't think it registered in his brain to say Raw. I think he thought this was just some set of tag team titles that they won along the way.
Yeah, some random indie or whatever. And he's like, 3-time Raw RAW tag team champions. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because I don't think Stu Fulton wastes a second of his life watching Monday Night Raw or WWE.
Okay. All right.
He's not one of the 1.7 million people in the world who watch
Netflix.
who watch Raw on WWE. I don't think so.
Missed out on
That's my
I believe
guess.
it missed out on the top 10 again this year. Let me see who. I think the Yule log did fall off though, unfortunately.
Well, it's a global brand.
It's a global brand.
global
Dave
brand.
Chappelle's stand up. Ricky Gervais came on with his stand up show, and that.
Forget it. You're dead.
Yeah, I came on, and that and Runaway, some series called Runaway came on. They got 12.7 million. So yeah, it was over for RAW.
For all we know, their numbers are up, but they're getting crushed by these monster, Stranger Things, Dave Chappelle, fucking
the Yule log,
Yule logs, So who knows? But what does it matter? They're going to get a fucking $150 billion deal next time again, even though nobody watches this shit. It doesn't fucking matter. And we know now Stu Fulton's not watching it either.
All right. So I like your scenario. So I posed the three scenarios. You guys can let us know in the comments as well what you think. So is he too cool for school, taking the piss out as paragraph text talks about in the chat room, kind of, taking the piss out, be like, I'm going to invalidate them by calling it RAW. Did he just didn't know what it was, or does he not know that? I think he probably knows that Raw is a thing, but I like your scenario. He doesn't think that Raw has their own tag team titles
in his head. Yeah.
He thought it would say WWE Tag Team Champions, but it doesn't.
Right.
It said Raw Tag Team Champions. So we just thought, the reality or I don't know, whatever the fuck. RAW, some indie that they worked a couple times.
Plus it's all in capital letters.
So right. Okay. All right.
And I think that if he wasn't on the air and he had a moment to think about it, it would have eventually, he would have went, oh wait, that's probably the right. But
and nobody corrected him either because they didn't really give a fuck either. So
because nobody else there watches it either.
Yeah.
So all right. So All Japan, we're going to do some All Japan. So they ran their New Year's Eve show at the Yoyogi National Gym #2. Okay, it's not the Yoyogi National Gym #1. Granted,
but it's not number 3.
Still did.
It's number 2.
It's not number 3.
I don't know if there is a 3, but it's not number 3.
Probably some hotel conference room in Yoyogi, no doubt. But they did almost 3,000 announced fans, 2,730. It was nice to see All Japan in a bigger building, a lively building, a well-lit building.
Yeah,
and
good.
Call me crazy, but I feel like the video quality has improved on AJPW.TV. I really feel like it has. Might have just been the lighting in the building. I don't know. I'll have to see when they get back in one of their tiny dumps. And,
yeah. Oh God, they run some of the dumpiest places. They do that long shot, and you're just like, oh, what are you doing in this building? Like,
so let's skip to the business end of things. There's literally nothing to talk about in the comedy opening half of the card.
Yeah, I skipped the battle royal, so if there was anything in there, I watched the rest of the first half of the show. I did skip the battle royal though. I was just like, I watched a minute of it, and I was just like, why am I doing? No, my life's too short. I'm not watching this. I'm moving on.
Do you have any thoughts on the other two tags, or do you want to just go right to the monster tag?
No, I don't have anything in my notes, so yeah, just I watched them, and I got nothing. So move on.
We'll go to the 3-way 6-man. I think they were billing this as a monster tag, or the
monster,
fans
monster
10-man
or monster tag or something like that. Yeah,
I thought this was harmless fun, and I enjoyed this. And they had the Havoc team win because Havoc's getting the push now in All Japan. I think that really my thoughts here. I have a bunch of thoughts. Okay, the Renayabe Talos team is just the Titans of Calamity. Well, actually, we could talk about them more when we talk about the follow-up Korakuen, I guess. But I have like a perverse enjoyment of them. I think it's a good pairing. I don't like Renayabe as a singles guy. The other thing about this match is I think Zion is getting real comfortable in All Japan. I buried him on his first tour. I was stunned when they brought him back, but he's starting to fit in. And I think the same for Odyssey. Odyssey is never short of confidence. That wasn't his issue. I think Zion needed to find his footing like a lot of foreigners do when they come in and do their first tour. But I think Odyssey and Zion are looking real comfortable in their own skin in this company now. It probably helps that they're being pushed. It probably helps that they've been on a few tours now. And I always love my man Cyrus. I mean, I just think Cyrus brings something new and different. He's so much fun. And I don't know. I enjoyed this for what it was. So Havoc, they beat Cyrus, Hakuto Omori, and Kuma Arashi. And then the third team was the Titans of Calamity and Daisuke Sekimoto, which, I mean, to put Daisuke Sekimoto, all 5'4" of them in there with those two guys, one of them is like 7 feet tall and the other's like 6'7". It was just very funny as a visual.
And they did a couple spots where I forget, it was Sakamoto was in there. I think it was Cyrus, and he like stepped up to him, and he comes up to Cyrus's like you really felt how short Sakamoto was in this match, because there's a lot of big dudes in this match. Odyssey's a big guy, Cyrus is a big guy, Yabe's tall, Talos is tall. Like, you're right, it was
very funny.
Yeah, you liked it better than I did, but I see your. I the
just
appeal.
Thought it was harmless fun.
Yeah,
that's all.
It was
thought it was harmless.
It was kind of confusing at times. There's just a bunch of dudes in the ring or whatever, but I get it. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it wasn't. I mean, there was a couple go-away guys. Like, I never need to see Hokuto Omori ever again, and Kumarashi, I'm kind of over him as well. But yeah, Odyssey looks a lot better. Zion looks a lot better. And Talos is interesting. I always like Talos for some reason. Renayabe is just a zilch, but that's fine. Whatever.
I think this is a good spot for Renayabe. We have more time to talk about that, though. All right, so Jun Saito and Go Shiozaki. I didn't know what to make of this coming in. You know, Go Shiozaki, he's a very experimental. He's not afraid to try things.
Right.
Okay. You know, he had the stare down match with Fujita. Yeah. And he's always very, you know, those 0-1 world title matches were very different kinds of matches that he had last year. You know, a lot of people think he was knocked out for real here. I don't know. I don't think he was. I just think he's a very experimental pro wrestler who tries different things. And this was such an interesting match to me. And, you know, he hits the Go Flasher, and it's not enough to put Jun Saito away. And there was a grittiness down the stretch that you don't see a lot in modern pro wrestling that reminded me of some of Go's 0-1 title matches last year, which were real gritty matches. And Jun wins it. And it was the kind of match. It's like every Saito match where it could be a train wreck, or it can shock you with how much better it is than you think it might be coming in. And I think this was the latter.
My thing with Go right now is I'm not sure what to make of Go right now in All Japan. I don't know if I had visions of what Go coming back to All Japan was going to be, And I thought it would be a lot of what we saw go last time it was in All Japan. But then I've had to kind of realize that All Japan's dead and gone. And there's nobody like that for him to work with in this company. I mean, with the exception of Kento Miyahara, we kind of saw that match. And that, that was a weird match too. It was a good match, but it was a weird match. And there's just not those kind of guys for Go to work with as much in All Japan. Plus, he's older and he's had a lot of major injuries and stuff. So I kind of came in thinking, all right, great. They've just kind of added a guy and those 0-1 matches were really good. We liked those matches, but they were different. They were unique, but he went out there and he worked his ass off in a lot of those too. But I don't know. I kind of expected Go to mean more to this All Japan roster. And it just, right now, it feels like he's just a guy that's on this roster and he doesn't feel like Go Shiozaki right now. He doesn't feel like a guy that really I see having a run that I'm going to really remember in any way, shape, or form, or a guy that's going to do anything that it's really going to be memorable. I just feels like he's kind of inserted himself as a roster member in this company so quickly, and he's kind of, I don't know. It's just,
I think that's about to change.
Okay.
Here's what I think, and it's just from following Japanese wrestling for a long time. Okay. They brought him in, they gave him his own unit. And we're like, he's just going to be in a heel unit with his dopey face paint. He does the job to Jun Saito on their big year-ending show. They give him the jumpsuit. They give him the tracksuit in Korakuen Hall 2 days later. And then they feature him in the opening match where he beats the young wrestler Shota Kofuji.
Okay. So you think we're rebuilding a little bit in a way?
And he did it in a very respectful and babyface way after getting his tracksuit and then making a big deal about that. After offering Suwama the handshake in Korakuen and grumpy ass Light and Pop, this company sucks Suwama, begrudgingly slaps his hand. You know what I mean? I think the loss to Jun Saito was, all right, you work here now for us, and this is our guy. You're going to lose to him. But now you're going to be part of the roster, and you've proven the last few months that you're going to be a team player. You lose here. I think they're pushing him moving forward, and I think that the Korakuen show was a sign of that, and even a change in his personality from when he first came in the company.
Do you think he can still go? For lack of a better term, do you think he can still go to that level?
I do. I really enjoyed that short match he had with Kofuji. And the thing about All Japan is, unless you're in there, and we're about to talk about the Kento Miyahara world title match with Anzai, you really don't have to go maximum effort in this company on the undercard. You don't. It's not what they are anymore. Light and Pop, baby. So I think if he has to gear it up for a big-time main event, he can. Because we've seen him do it. We just saw him do it last year. He carried the dying husk.
Yeah.
But
was that the last breath? I guess I'm wondering,
Saito.
was that it? Was that the last bit
No,
of...
I don't see any reason. I don't see any reason why he has just fallen off of a cliff in the last 6 months. No. I don't. Or I guess those matches were in 2024, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think that symbolically, they were telling you that he's going to have a big year in this company coming up. I think that he will. And we'll see. I mean, the one thing about these All Japan shows that I watched is I came away more optimistic about All Japan than I have felt in probably a year and a half or 2 years after watching these 2 or 3 shows that I watched. I'm way more optimistic than I am in Noah. And I like the Noah roster better. I like everything about Noah better. But how can you watch something like Kento Miyahara and Yuma Anzai?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, that match was just fucking phenomenal. And that's, it's nice to have Kento with the title back again. I will never be sick of Kento Miyahara. There are a lot of people who are sick of him. They never want the title back on him. They're nuts, because how can you see a match like this and not want to see this guy on top? He's incredible. And I talked about the grittiness in Saito Shiozaki. There was a grittiness down the stretch in this match too, where
God, these guys were throwing knees at each other like,
and they're so good. They're both so good that it wasn't grittiness because it was messy. It was intentional messiness.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Oh yeah.
Like they worked this in a way where they wanted it to look and feel like a fight. And the straitjacket German is without question the most dramatic finishing move and the most dramatic move in wrestling, period. Because when he's trying to get that other arm locked in and lock you in that thing, and you know that the guy's dead if he hits it, and the guy fights it off, there is just so much drama attached to that move. And if you're rooting for the other guy, you're like, no, get to the ropes. Don't, slip out. If you're rooting for Kento, you want him to lock it in. It's just so great. The nasty punches and headbutts in this thing. I mean, holy shit. And Yuma Anzai, he took his little break last year, and he comes back, and you're like, oh, yeah, this guy is one of the best in the world. And we knew he was a prodigy, and he's still in his early to mid-20s. And this wasn't his time to come in and win the title back. I think this was a table setter. I think he probably wins the title sometime later this year, probably from Kento. It was too soon to do that right now. But holy shit, was this match great. I'm going to leave Tanahashi Okada out of this, but this was a better match than anything else I saw that week. Again, I'll leave Tanahashi Okada out of it.
Yeah, that was so steeped in emotion and stuff like that. Yeah. But as far as like a pure bell-to-bell wrestling match, this blew everything else away.
It's so great.
This you talk about the grittiness. And Anzai's really good at selling too. That's what I really noticed on this match. Like, cause he is so good at sell. Like Kento Miyahara will come off the ropes and hit a flying knee. And Anzai in his he's got a pretty long frame. Like he's not a tall guy, but he's got a very lanky frame or whatever. He's so good at collapsing it and making it look like that guy just absolutely stole his soul with that knee or whatever. And then just fighting against that straitjacket German. And I know, again, like you said, people always will go, he's Kento Miyahara. He's got the same template for. Okay, I mean, I've watched that template now for a lot of years, and I don't
even know if I agree with that.
I don't either. It's something people say. Every wrestler has a template.
But I don't even feel like I'm watching the same match with this guy. No. And people say that, and I never feel that way.
It's just because he does some of the same moves in the same order. And
every wrestler does.
Exactly, and his finishing move is kind of a deliberate. But I love it because it protects the move. It makes this move like the most deadly fucking thing, and you can do an entire match.
It's so dramatic.
Because the entire match can be the second he hits this move and this variation of this move, it's fucking over for me. And as long as I fight through it, I have a fighting chance. But once he locks those arms and lifts me up, it's over and I'm done. And I love that drama. And that was this, like a lot of great Kento Miyahara matches. That's what this was. Yuma Anzai is fighting for his life and scratching and clawing and realizing it. As long as I can just stay away from that fucking straitjacket German, I'm good. And he's fighting it and hitting flying knees and hitting all of his moves. And the crowd is going electric. And then Kento just grabs him at the right time, hooks those arms, and Anzai is just like, God damn it, it's over. And that was the right finish. Anzai he shouldn't come back and win this title right away. Build it up for a little bit and he will, of course, win this title again. But he's the kind of guy, and we talked about this a lot last year. His absence was very obvious in All Japan, and now that he's back, I can see why you're more ambitious or more confident, I should say, in All Japan, because he's just such a great addition to that roster, and he's a fucking prodigy, and he's great. So he raises that whole thing up. That whole stature of that roster moves up a lot by having a guy like that, because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and having him back on your roster is just a huge boon. So, I can't say enough good things about this match. One, probably the best match of the weekend, and a match that really has me thinking. It slipped in 2025. Probably the last match a lot of people are going to watch from the year 2025. Yeah. I am very curious if it does well in our match of the year.
It'll get some votes.
It will.
Okay. Top 25, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and deserves it.
So the Dragon Gate kids come in and they're healing it up, and they win the All Asia titles from Musashi and Saiki Yoshioka. I thought Ishin was awesome in this match. Ishin in particular was
great. He's a lot of fun.
And them healing it up and being total assholes. I mean, look, like I said, this is a much more encouraging show to me than the Noah show. This made me feel optimistic about All Japan, while the Noah show made me feel like I don't want to pay attention to Noah, but unfortunately I have to. That's the feeling I had, the different feelings I had coming out of each of these shows. So I think it's interesting to have the two Dragon Gate assholes come in here and win those titles. And then did you watch the Korakuen from 2 nights later?
I did not. No, I didn't.
All right. So let me take you through this. So I talked about Shiozaki. They gave him his tracksuit. He had the little interaction with Suwama, which people really popped for. And then he wins the opener against Shota Kofuji, and he just wrestled it straight. And it's like, all right, he's going to be a guy. That's how it felt. And since you didn't see that, maybe that's how you still feel another way about him. But that's the impression I got. And then the top of the card stuff, they had the traditional battle royal, and I think Yuma Anzai won, but I blew that off. I never watched that. So Titans of Calamity won the tag team titles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Ayabe and Talos, they not only won the tag team titles, but your next Triple Crown challenger is Talos, Rich Critch.
Oh, my God.
How do you feel about that?
I love it. I like Talos. That's going to be a fun one for Kento, but Kento does well against big guys. Kento's he works well against big dudes.
Wait to see that fucking match. And
how good is that straight jacket going to be? How great is it going to be when he finally gets that guy up? He's going to try, I'm sure. I think he has to, but
I don't think he can hit that on this guy.
Well, there's our hook.
This guy's like,
there's our hook.
That's what I mean. He's like a legit 7 foot. And he's a big dude. He's not a string bean like Ren Ayabe. But the match wasn't anything to write home about with Odyssey and Zion. But it was watchable. And I think this Titans of Calamity thing just works. And they're doing Talos versus Kento. Now, I don't think they're doing it in a especially big building. It's on the 25th. Let me see if I can find the building. But one of the nerds in the chat might know. But no, Cage Match doesn't have it. I don't think it. So they're not doing it. They're doing it in a smaller building, I think. I'm going to try to see if I can find that. So it's not like they're counting on it to be like some kind of big time drawing match. But, I just find that very interesting that that's what they're going with as the next title match. And obviously Kento will get through him as well. And then probably they'll set up the next challenger there. I hope it's not Ren Ayabe. I've had enough of Ren Ayabe.
Yeah, I don't need to see him ever in a singles match ever again. Yeah, we're good on that.
So hopefully that's not where they go. And then they had the show the next night in Korakuen, which I haven't gotten around to watching. But Daisuke Sekimoto won the TV title from Shotaro Ashino.
All right.
So rough couple nights for whatever the fuck that game is called. Havoc.
Their little face paint, their little dopey face paint that they all have. How was that? Was that match pretty good?
I didn't see the second night.
Oh, you didn't see it. Okay, that seems up my alley. I should probably watch that.
I'm going to get around to it. And then they had Atsuki Aoyagi and Kurama for the junior title, which Kurama... Oh, actually, you know what? I did see this. So he came out in his rabbit mask gimmick.
Yes.
So this was Yasutaka Yano.
Yes. We talked about this on the Flagship with John Carroll. Yeah, this is a backdoor a way to get this guy who's pretty canceled to get him back into wrestling.
We got fired from Noah.
Yes.
Is the deal here. He got fired from Noah with who's the other kid they fired? Because they had the sex assault allegation.
Yes. I forget the other name.
We don't want to get it wrong. So
yeah, I'm not going to say a name. Let me see if I can figure out the name. But
so he gets fired from Noah, disappears. He fucks off to Mexico for a while. Okay. Comes back to Japan. He returns to All Japan doing this Kurama gimmick where he's working under the mask. It kind of looks like a rabbit or whatever. Whatever. Kurama probably means rabbit in Japanese. We probably sound like fucking idiots. But whatever the case. And that's what he was working as in Mexico a lot of times. So this was his lucha gimmick. So he gets this main event match in the junior title match on the second night in Korakuen, and he unmasks at the end of the match after he loses and, announces who he is. And he's crying and begging and pleading for the fans to forgive him and accept him. And he says he's going to start over as a young boy. And I think on the match and the shows that they have booked out that he's literally starting off as a young boy. He's working the openers. He's doing ring crew. I think he's shaving his head. So he was begging for a fresh start from the All Japan fans. And as a punishment, he wants to start as a young boy. Now, obviously, this is incredibly divisive. And there are a lot of people who don't want this guy around. They think he's a piece of shit and he shouldn't even be getting this second chance and all of those things. So that's what's going on with that. I actually did watch that match. I didn't watch the TV title match. I went right to the main event and then haven't gone back to watch the rest of the show. So I did see it. The match was nothing to write home about. And the post match was, now look, I did see some people saying that the crowd didn't respond to him at all. I don't think that's true. He was getting some calls from the crowd. I'm not saying that the crowd was behind him, but there were people in the crowd that were behind him and that were clapping and encouraging him when he was giving his speech and he was crying and all of that. So this is not a situation where it just died a death or that everyone seems to be against him and it feels like All Japan is making a massive mistake. Now, your mileage is going to vary on that. I couldn't care less whether they employ this guy or not. I could see why a lot of people are dead set against it. But if I'm just being fair as an analyst, it didn't feel to me like he was getting rejected in Korakuen Hall when he took that mask off. That's all. It also didn't feel like they warmly put their arms around him and embraced him. It felt like kind of a split deal.
Yeah. Some people are willing to forgive and let him, rebuild himself.
Without a doubt, because there were points in the promo where they were clapping and encouraging him and chanting his name, but only like a few people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the rest of the crowd was just silent. Like, what is this crap? I didn't even get the sense it was because they're like, oh no, it's that guy with the allegation. I thought it was, oh, who the fuck? It's the Noah young boy? Who cares? Like they either didn't know who he was or just remembered him as an undercard guy in Noah. Because he never really got cranking in Noah.
He never got started. Yeah, the other guy that got arrested was Kinya Okada, and he had and he did get started. He was doing like N1s and stuff like that. So he hadn't he wasn't getting like a push or whatever. But Yano was basically still like a young boy at that point. I don't remember if he ever got past that point. But Okada was semi-established, but he was. Yeah, they were both arrested, and on suspicion of molesting a young woman is what I'm reading here. So again, Okada, I think he's done. He never got back, but this is Yano's trying to get back in or figure out what the rest of his life's going to be. Yeah, he's in. Yeah, I mean, he's here.
He's back. He's working for All Japan, and after working in Mexico for a while, and it's going to be obviously a controversial thing and a point of contention for a lot of people at this point.
I would say I respect that they're at least unmasking him and saying this is this guy. Now you can decide if you want to be okay with this or not, but I thought the backdooring him in through a mask gimmick was pretty shady. And that kind of sucks. So I'm kind of glad. I'm at least glad. Like, again, I have no real strong thoughts about this guy.
But
whatever.
A lot of common fans weren't going to know that he was working this gimmick.
Right.
You have to be a real insider fan to have understood who this was.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give them and him, I guess, the smallest bit of credit that at least they're not pretending that he's not this guy. Right. And they're letting the fans decide if they want to forgive him or not, or allow him to rebuild his life or not. So I don't know. I don't know if he's talented enough that it's worth it, but fine. We'll see.
Well, he didn't blow me away here, and I don't remember being particularly enamored with his work in Noah. So
I don't know if I remember it enough.
It begs the question of what's the connection and why do they feel like this is worth the risk?
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is different cultures treat this stuff differently. In the United States currently, obviously, we're in a period of time where people just aren't having that shit. Now, some people have been able to skate or survive certain allegations. It's really a case-by-case basis. In Mexico, it seems like in that culture, they don't give a fuck. It really doesn't matter to them much at all. And in Japan, it's kind of like, I don't know the culture well enough, obviously, to speak definitively on it, but it seems like
we'll see. Well, I think we'll see with this guy. If
maybe we'll find out. Yeah.
If it just it doesn't work and the fans actually reject it and the guy goes away quickly, then we'll know that they feel strongly about it. At least in this guy's case.
There's other guys currently working in Japan with allegation. I mean, Hajime Ohara had a thing.
Yeah.
Who's that? Joji.
Oh God, he still works everywhere. Yeah, and
that guy, he works in every indie there is.
And that wasn't even an allegation with him. I think it was straight up. It did happen, and it's like, whatever. And he just works everywhere. Yeah,
and he just keeps getting booked, and it's like, again, am I locked into Japanese insider wrestling Twitter to know if the fans are as vehemently disgusted by it as American fans usually are? No, I'm not. But what I do know is these guys get booked. And I know that in America and I know in Europe, there's a lot of people who are never going to get booked again on a meaningful level after some of the allegations that we've seen. But then there's other people like Matt Riddle has allegated, and you can name others too. And they keep getting, but now Matt Riddle, you could argue, is shut out from the major leagues. Ironically enough, Major League, MLW, but you get the idea. You get the idea he's shut out from that. But there's others who it's really a case by case thing. So, we'll see how this shakes out. They're pushing them moving forward. There's some people put off by the idea of it's insulting to think that he could just do a kayfabe starting over as a young boy thing and treat that as like it's a real punishment. And I could kind of see that viewpoint too.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know. The other thing is I don't know anything about the case other than the allegation.
Yeah, I mean,
so the other guy's gone and apparently isn't coming back, or hasn't come back yet anywhere. This dude fucked off to Mexico and rebuilt that way. And I guess the way he saw it was, I'm going to let this cool off. And he waited a couple of years and here we are. So I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I think it'll tell us a lot about, like you said, how does that culture handle this? Because, it'd be one thing if they kind of hit him under a mask and just had him on the undercards, but the fact that they unmasked him and are, presumably pushing him and making it known that he's rebuilding or whatever, and that's publicly that's interesting. So I'm curious how that goes for them.
Yeah, Joji Otani is the guy I was talking about.
Yeah, and he did actual time. And I think he's still...
Yeah, and you're right. Like he was there. That's not allegations. He's like convicted.
Yes.
I don't remember exactly what he did, but he gets booked everywhere he got booked before. Now, he was never a major league guy. So you can't even say it cost him anything because he was booked in all of the scummer indies before, and he's booked in all of the same scummer indies now. In a lot of cases, the same places. So, and that's someone who, again, was convicted, right? Like he got convicted.
Yeah, he got arrested. He got arrested. It was having sex with an underage girl, and he got convicted and arrested of it. And I don't know if he actually did time, but he was arrested. And
okay, so he was at minimum arrested for this,
mm-hmm.
and well, I mean, so I don't know. Maybe because it is low level indie wrestling, no one cares. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but he works a lot. He is working a lot.
It's interesting though, because we've seen like guys in New Japan like just have cheating scandals and they are punished. Or, it's like Taka Michinoku had his whole thing. He lost his promotion over some kind of sexting, cheat, whatever his thing was. I don't think he assaulted anybody, but he had some kind of sex related scandal and he had to restart a different promotion because he lost Kaientai Dojo and all that.
Yeah, famously Taichi was seen like with another woman that wasn't his wife or whatever.
And he got, he had to be punished. And it's like, so it's weird. Like they do punish things there that would never be punished here. No one's losing their job or being punished for being unfaithful in the United States. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no.
But in our culture right now, people aren't having sex assault as something that you could just like
come back from. Yeah, you can't come back from it.
Just very certain, just very particular cases where maybe details are cloudy. It's just you can never. It's not a definitive thing who skates and who doesn't. It's always case by case.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. It's like this culture isn't having that shit anymore. But on the other side of that, we would never punish someone for being unfaithful. We view that as you don't know their life. We don't know what's going on between them two. It is, none of our, it's more like that ain't no one's business is how we treat that. It is what it is and whatever. Maybe he's not a good husband, but that's no reason not to employ, that's just the way. In Japan, that's a completely different deal. So that's what I mean. Every culture treats all of this shit so differently that it's hard for me to say whether this is completely out of line within their culture to give this guy a chance and to do this whole young boy thing with it. I don't know. All I know is this would not be how this was handled here in a promotion.
Definitely not.
He'd probably be done.
He'd be done, or he'd be like Marty and those guys and just work Puerto Rico and work these random ass places, but never come back.
That don't matter.
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know. So that's All Japan. They had a very encouraging week, unless you're someone who is just deeply opposed to bringing back this fucking guy. And like you said, under really shady circumstances with the mask and everything, that was
dirty. That was very dirty. So I'm at least, I all I'll say is I'm at least glad that they are making it obvious to people that this is this guy, and now letting you decide how you feel about this guy. But yeah, doing it through the mask I was like, ooh, that is real dirty business there. So anyway, hey, that was All Japan on New Year's Eve. That was Noah New Year. That was New Japan New Year's Dash. That was a very Japan-heavy episode of the Flagship. But somebody said we should play the bouncing around Japan music. We would have had to play it for 2.5 hours, so that would have been pretty hard to listen to. So, but it was an extended bouncing around Japan segment in essence. But anyway. That is it for us. So flagshippatreon.com, as we said, if you want our Wrestle Kingdom review, that is going to be available to you on the $10 tier at flagshippatreon.com. Instant reaction live. We also have a bunch of new stuff up on the $5 tier, a brand new episode of Flagship Plus, a brand new episode of the Thursday Dynamite Review, your week-by-week reviews of AEW Dynamite. I got a new tour of the territories up there. Some other new retro stuff coming your way very soon from myself as well, working on that right now, and should be released in the next, I don't want to say next couple days, but at least very, very soon, getting it all together, recording it all right now. So should be out pretty soon. And as we said, it's going to be a big year at flagshippatreon.com, so make sure you are a part of it. So $5 tier gets you all of our bonus audio. $10 tier unlocks everything we do, written content, audio content, live, everything else is available there on the $10 tier. So that is it for us. That is Joe Lanza. I'm Rich Craich. We'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines. And we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voices of Wrestling Network.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.